All right, we do have some kind of an intro.
Party time.
Party time. It's party time. We'll be talking about a particular Arsenal Hale End Academy product who has made the journey all the way back to the Arsenal. So we'll be talking about that player. But for now, welcome to the Thursday Night Forum, everybody. Hopefully, you're all suitably gassed up a little bit about the news in the last 24 hours. So we have 5 people in the house already, Stan. So BX Gunner in the house. Greetings, everyone. Bring in the beers, BX Gunner. And Stephen from Canada all the way up. Hey, everyone. How you doing? Hope everybody's... Listen, we might as well just get right into it, Stan. Or should we? Or should we save it a little bit later?
You're in the seat, mate. You're in the chair.
You know what? We'll save it for a little bit later. Gary may join us. Tony may join us. So, yeah, we'll save the good news for a little bit later in the show when you have a few more people joining us. Because last thing you want to do is rehash things that you've already talked about, right, Stan? But, yeah. So let's talk about your... It's been a few days since that game at Old Trafford. And for me, it doesn't even seem real that the Premier League has actually started for Arsenal. So, your thoughts coming out of the Manchester United game at Old Trafford and how the league table is shaping up, albeit after just one game, Stan.
Well, now that it's been X amount of days since it's happened, and I've had more time to kind of think about it. And we were talking how it's always good to go up to Old Trafford and be able to leave with 3 points, albeit whether there were, it wasn't the slickest, of performances. Sometimes when I remember when Man United used to run away with the league on a regular basis, sometimes, people used to talk about matches where they played badly, and they used to say something like, when you win the league, you have to know how to be able to win ugly.
Yep.
And maybe that's what we're seeing, that we're able to, even when we're not on our best day, we're still able to try and get something and scratch something out of the game. And maybe we can say that the game against Man United was us winning ugly.
Yeah. Listen, we're a long way. Well, we're maybe a long way from being that Manchester City side in the last.
Man United. I meant Man United. I was.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm going to reference Man City because in the last decade, Pep Guardiola and Man City have made a habit in winning 4 league titles in a row.
Yeah.
And either side of Liverpool's lone title win. Going to places like Old Trafford and winning scruffy 1-0. Manchester City haven't always played good football, and it's maybe a mark of a good side to go there and not lose. And, there was, up until Mikel Arteta arrived at Arsenal, we had many, many, many bad days at Old Trafford. And in the 5 or 6 years since Mikel Arteta's been here, he's delivered 3 wins at Old Trafford, 3 1-0 wins at Old Trafford in the last 5 or 6 seasons.
And you only have to look at the current holders of the Premier League title, Liverpool. They lost, very few games last season, but there were a lot of games where they didn't look convincing, but they still managed to come out of the game with a result. They won ugly on a lot of occasions. And, at the end of the day, if you get to the end of the season and you're lifting the trophy, no one cares if you've won ugly or not. People are just concerned that you are holding that trophy and that you are the champion. So, it's early days. It's only been the one game, and it definitely wasn't, our best performance when we left Old Trafford with all 3 points and a clean sheet. It's not like the game finished 3-2 and they had us against the ropes. we left there with all 3 points, and we managed to keep a clean sheet as well. So I think there should be a lot to be said for that, because as the season goes on, you'd like to think that this Arsenal is only going to get better. And obviously now with some of the new incumbents, the new signings that we have, that hopefully as well should be able to raise the quality level in the way that we play.
Yeah, 100%. BX Gunner says, "Is that the Jack in the Box spokesman?" So I'm not quite sure what that is in reference to. You might be able to enlighten
Maybe he's
me.
not. Maybe he's not watching us, and he can only hear my little party favor.
Yeah. We'll wait. We'll wait for the podcast to get a little bit warmed up tonight before we get into that. Stephen has said, "Problem is we have rarely played good football in the last year. We've struggled to score all because of our style." I would say we've been creating opportunities and chances that have not been taken. Maybe and of course our football has not been as cavalier as it was 2 or 3 seasons ago when we went to Manchester United, and I, and we beat Liverpool 3-2 at home. We played really well. I think what we have now is maybe Gyökeres will get established in the Premier League and start taking those chances. A couple of other forwards that we've just signed, another forward that we just signed, maybe a starter as well in the team, and take chances and actually provide chances as well.
Yeah, I mean, and we finished the season last season second, and for quite a big chunk of that season, we were playing with a midfielder up front. We didn't have a striker. We were relying on Mikel Mourinho, or every now and again a false nine in a Trossard, for example. So, we've got 3 strikers on the books now. We've got Kai Havertz, Victor Gyökeres, Gabriel Jesus is still with us. He's going to be coming back from an injury at some point, and we've also got Mikel Mourinho, who you got to give him his flowers. I mean, I thought he played really well in that position last season, considering what was going on. Almost a goal every other game.
Yep.
He managed to find the back of the net. So
thrown in at the deep end a little bit as well was Mikel Mourinho. When the club
his first
in January.
Season, and his first season playing playing at Arsenal.
Yep. And being thrown in deep end when in January the club could have gone out and gotten a striker, did not go get a striker. Told us they would go big in the summer, and we're building a nice window now, as we'll speak about the latest edition very soon. I'm really, really, really putting the heat under this thing, right? We'll speak about the newest edition really, really soon, indeed. But yeah, going to Old Trafford, here's the positives. You go to Old Trafford, it's a difficult away fixture, and we've gotten that out of the way now, Stan. We've gone there, we've gotten 3 points, a little bit scruffy, right? A scruffy 3 points, but not every game is going to be good. Even Liverpool have had some scruffy wins last season in their win all the way to the title. And, we can build this thing.
I was also, after the Man United game, with the press conferences and so forth that happened, I was very surprised to hear Ruben Amorim, come up with the conclusion that on the back of that one match, he believes that they're able to beat any team in the Premier League. Well, they didn't beat us, so they can't beat every team. They didn't beat us, right, in their own backyard. It kind of reminded me a little bit of the end of the semi-final of the Champions League when Mikel Arteta, made the bold claim that we were the better team, should have won that. We were the better team, and even the bench from the other team, they came and told me you were the better team and you should have won, and he got ripped and you behind for coming out with that. But I haven't really seen people making much of a fuss about Ruben Amorim claiming that Man United are now, on the strength of losing to us, able to win or beat any team in the league. I don't know where he got that from.
Yeah.
Again, he should be coming out with that, something along the lines of he was glad of some of the improvements that he's made. He was happy to see what some of his new signings came up with. But, there's a lot of work to do. And they're going to, we can only improve and get better. You want us to come out with those kind of sound bites, right? Rather than be arrogant and say, yeah, I believe that. What are they going to do now? Go the next 37 games unbeaten? I don't think so.
Yeah, I knew exactly when you started saying that you were going to reference, as an example, Mikel Arteta's assertion coming out of the semi-final, the second leg of the semi-final, about not getting to the Champions League final. This is what managers do, right? They have to lift their players, even when the performance wasn't good enough. You have to say the things that sometimes sound a bit ridiculous to those outside of the camp, but maintain that the boys are working hard for you, and that's all Ruben Amorim could do coming out of Sunday. Maintain that they were the better team, and when the whole football world knows there was only really one stat at the end of the day that matters, and that's the scoreline, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand how if I was the manager of Man United, I wouldn't be bigging up my team and giving a polite golf clap to my players for losing at home on the first game of the season. You want to be able to win your home games, right? Or at least get something out of it, and they got nothing. It wasn't like we were winning 1-0, and in the last 9 seconds they equalised, and it ended 1-1. You could understand him bigging up his team for doing something like that, but they didn't score any goals. So I wouldn't be giving my players a pass. I don't want them to take their foot off the brake. If my players, I'd want them to think, the manager's not happy. We need to do better. We need to take a look at ourselves. And I'd be expecting the captain or the group of captains that most clubs have now to be sort of like telling the rest of the team and maybe taking a look at themselves and trying to get themselves to get 3 points in the second game. But by saying that, we can go out, we can beat any team. I don't want my players to be like, oh, right, yeah, manager's happy. We're doing everything right, and being all sort of like relaxed about it. You need to be on them, because before you know where you are, the league's finished and you haven't qualified for Europe.
Yeah, and like in Formula One, the United may know that their race is not against Arsenal, that their race will be against Aston Villa, Brighton, these types of teams, right? Just on the edges of European football. Stephen said United might be better up front this season, but their midfield and backline are still crap. When you were putting the fridge on the pitch, you're not a top contending club. And those players in that squad, in that Manchester United squad, will know what they have in the dressing room. They might not know exactly with Mbeumo or with Cunha what they have yet, because those players have to gel. And I will add to that as well, the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper is really, really bad. I think it was Bahender.
Which one?
Or something like that. Yeah, all of them.
Which one?
Take your pick. Take your pick. Indeed.
You could basically wear a blindfold and reach out your hand to pick either Onana or Bayendia.
Yeah.
They're both pretty crap, to be fair.
Yeah, so it remains to be seen. I mean, they are gonna have to they're gonna have to dig out some points by using the Embuemos and the Cunhas of this world, Bruno Fernandes, and Manchester United will have to outscore a lot of teams this season. But yeah,
there was something in that game that I remember when I saw it, but for some reason I didn't mention it, or it slipped my mind during last Sunday's podcast. But I was reminded of it when somebody had taken a clip of it and put it on X. And it was Gyökeres when he was in the box and he went to sort of like take the ball past the player and he kind of ran off and left the ball. You know, he meant to move the ball around one of their defenders, and he left. He moved, and the ball stayed there. And I remember sort of like putting my hand on my face and saying, like, mate, you've got to take the ball with you.
Yeah, I saw that clip actually this evening. Yeah,
I mean, I really hope that that's just a rusty move, because, you know, if you're in the box and you've got the ball there, you don't want to be making those kind of mistakes, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Michael,
that's probably worse than slicing a shot and hooking it wide. When you know, that's like me playing golf. You know, I get onto the range. Do you know what I mean? And I take my swing, and then I look down, and the ball is still there.
Yeah.
I didn't even hit the ball. That's how bad I am at golf.
Michael, evening everyone. Thanks for joining us, Michael, here.
Welcome, Michael.
As well. BX Gunner says he's got some Disney bags in the car, and BX Gunner we're accompanying him on his drive home.
I'm just thinking, Disney bags, is that code for something else? Let's not go into
that. Snow White bags. You said the frozen section.
Bags with booger sugar in the car.
Frozen section of Epcot. But BX Gunner, hopefully we can accompany you on your drive home. About an hour away from home. Been on the road since noon.
I was on the road.
Orlando to Charlotte. So, you know, I'll be driving that in late October, myself this year.
Where are you going?
I'm going down to Orlando as well.
Disney?
Yeah, Disney. Yeah. So
is that Disney World or Disneyland?
Disney World. Yeah.
Is that the one at the Epcot Center, that big golf ball?
Epcot. Yep. Big golf ball.
Yeah, I'm going to go there. Jealous.
So yeah, Disney on Ice, says Michael as well. Yeah. You know, shave some of that ice. Stan, I was thinking the same way. Says
the devil's dandruff.
Look at this crew that we have here in the house, right? All thinking the same way.
The devil's dandruff.
Tiger and Gunner, welcome all the way from Australia as well. The devil's dandruff indeed. And we'll talk about Leeds a little bit later. Gyökeres will eat Leeds' defense alive. A quick word about Gyökeres, Stan. I mean, listen, Thierry Henry and Dennis Bergkamp took about 7 or 8 or 9 games to get going with Arsenal. Now, of course, you know, we'd like Gyökeres to get off the mark as soon as possible, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna give Victor Gyökeres. I was gonna say 10, but I'm gonna be a little bit generous. I'm gonna give him 15 games before
you give Havertz 10.
Yeah, but Havertz is already playing in this league.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Havertz was already playing in this league, and knew all of the grounds and what to expect. So what I'm hoping is that if I say that I give Gyökeres 15 games, I'm hoping that he can end the conversation before we even get to 10, and make it null and void, and does enough, you know, within his first 6-7 games to put any speculation about his quality to bed.
Yeah. I'll give him till the first international break, which is Saturday and the following Sunday against Liverpool. Leeds and Liverpool. Come on, Gyökeres, fill your bags. Fill your bags against Leeds.
But the thing is, everyone's, you know, I know a lot of people are saying, like, well, you know, it's Leeds, a team that have come up. That's where you open your account. But they've spent £150 million on transfers themselves.
Leeds have.
Yeah, they've spent £150 million.
Wow.
Now, I don't know any of the players that they've signed. I've not looked. I've not heard that in the conversations. But I knew before the season started that they had money to spend, because I'd heard someone talking about it. Wow. And then just before we came on air, I was listening to an interview on Talkshite Radio, and they were saying, yeah, you know, they're talking about Leeds, and they said they've spent £150 million. So again, I don't know who they bought. I don't know if any players from the Premier League, maybe someone in the chat box might have some names. But, you know, we're not going to be facing the team that's come up from the Championship. It's a different outfit. And they've done pretty well on their first game, didn't they? They beat Everton.
They beat Everton with a penalty toward the end of the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Was
talk
it?
about
Was it?
going to
Was it at
difficult
Everton as
place.
well? It was
It
at.
was at it was at Everton, Goodison Park.
There you go. Away from home,
So
their first game, and they walk away with 3. Yeah, BX is saying they bought Calvert Lewin.
Albert. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. That's experience. He knows the league. That's not someone
Yep.
that's not someone that's got to
Listen,
fly in and settle in from Spain or
what
whatever.
we a little bit of word about Leeds then, Stan, because you know what? In recent years, the three teams that have come up from the championship have gone straight back down. I would say of all of the three teams that have come up, Sunderland have done well, but listen, it's a long season. I would say Leeds has the best chance of staying in the Premier League.
I wonder if, as we're speaking on this, that Mr. Tom has just woken up from
Yeah,
his
Paul
deep
Pot,
sleep.
maybe.
He's sat
Right?
bolt upright in a cold sweat, and he doesn't understand what's woke him up. But his Leeds radar is going off.
Somebody's talking about Leeds. I must go on this thing called the internet, as he would say, and this thing called the YouTube, and check it out.
But
Michael said,
again, as well, Leeds have been a little bit of a yo-yo club, but I seem to remember the last time that they were in the Premier League that they beat us once in the season. I'm pretty sure they either beat us or they got a draw, and so this is going to be our first home game, as it was Manchester United's first home game. So I think it's important that we don't have any slip-ups. I don't think it's a game that you can take for granted. I don't think there are any games really that you can take for granted, because it's all about preparation and how you set up. So, I'm hopefully going to go to the pub for that one, because it's a 9:30 kickoff here.
yes.
But it's not like early doors. The sun will already be up, so I'm probably going to try and get down the pub to watch that one. But do you know what? I don't like going down the pub. I used to go all the time, pre-COVID, all the time, and I got used to. COVID, right? I got used to just being able to get out of bed 10 minutes before the game and just slide out of bed and slide onto the couch.
Yeah.
With brushing my teeth in between, sort of thing. Rather than getting up, having a shower, getting all dressed up, going downtown to the pub. And I got used to it, but I'm kind of in a place now where, because I don't go so often and it's only like, casual appearances, I'm always worried that when I decide to go, that's a game that we're going to lose. And
You're superstitious.
And I'm going to have the hump leaving the pub.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, I wish I stayed at home.
Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing like that. When I was in Ireland, you go down the pub, you watch a game, and you'd be outnumbered by Liverpool or Manchester United supporters. And then, they would beat Arsenal, and you'd, like you said, you'd leave the pub with a hump. You know what I mean?
Now, we don't get really any away. Whatever game it is, we don't get any away, because it is an Arsenal pub. They open up early for the Arsenal Vancouver Supporters Club, who sort of run it. A friend of mine called Ash. They actually have like a supporters club, and they got a deal with the pub. It's been in other locations before, so it's usually all Arsenal. It's not like a 2 o'clock in the afternoon and a pub and a high street and they're showing the football and they've got people from different teams in there having a beer. People have got up early to go downtown, to go to the pub to watch it with other Arsenal supporters. So, even if we do lose games now, we're lucky enough that we don't have away supporters like laughing at us.
Yeah. Michael said you're getting old. We're both getting old, Stan, and it's been, 6-7 seasons now since we've had a decent bit of silverware. And, in our heyday, we had Thierry Henry, Dennis Bergkamp, and the like tearing it up in the Premier League. So we're trying to get back to the, what do you call it, the Holy Grail. Lift that Premier League trophy. That in 2004 you would have thought, we'll have some more of these in the coming years. You know what I mean? You never know. You just never know.
I'm hoping that now that we've fattened out the team a bit, because you got to remember, right? The bench that we had, right, for the Paris Saint-Germain Champions League final was embarrassing. It was an embarrassing bench. You're like, okay, we need to change it up a bit. You got two kids sat there keeping chairs warm that are never going to get on the pitch. In Cabia and Odedeji Butler, right? Yeah. Or Butler Odedeji, I can't remember which way round.
Yeah, Odedeji, yeah.
They were never going to get a sniff. So you can already see where they're 2 players down. We were 2 players down there for choice. Now we've got players that we can actually bring off of the bench, and they can make a contribution. And we're not in a situation now where Mikel Arteta is thinking, well, the only person I can really bring on here is Kieran Tierney, left back for a left back. I mean, that's as much as I like Kieran Tierney, that's not a match winning kind of move.
Yeah.
Now we've got players when everybody is fit. Let's say, Gabriel Jesus is fit. Everyone else is fit. We've got players that should be able to come on and help win matches in tight situations.
Yep. Michael calling out Leeds have brought in a Japanese guy who's very silky.
BX says his name is A.O. Tanaka.
Yeah.
Which I'd never heard of.
Possibly Eze is going to pick number 10 and Joker is number 14. This is the modern day Bergkamp and Henry, right?
Well, I really hope that the number 10, I don't want any player to wear the number 10 because for me, ever since that number 10 shirt went to William Gallas, I believe it's cursed. It's broken the players that have worn it since. I mean, you could even look at, by the end of Mesut Ozil's tenure, everybody wanted him out of the club, right? He was wearing that number 10 shirt. Yeah. The number 10 shirt almost killed Jack Wilshere. Almost killed the poor lad. I've got this thing now about the number 10 shirt that I'm like, oh, it's cursed. I would have liked to have seen Odegaard wearing it, personally. Mm-hmm. But then with the bad form that he went through last season, Emil Smith-Rowe didn't last long in a number 10 shirt. Had Odegaard had that number 10 shirt, I would have been like, it's the bloody curse. That's what happened last season. It's the curse.
We got 10 people watching now as well. So the number 10, like Sesame Street, is trending here. Stephen, listen, slap a like on the video right now whilst you're here, guys. Would really appreciate that. We don't usually go begging for things, but yeah, slap a like would be nice. I used to go to the pub to watch F1. There were about 50 of us, but the numbers started to dwindle after 2012. And now no one goes. The last of us stopped going in 2019. Yeah.
What I like about Formula One is Formula One for me is like golf. They're 2 sports that I like watching on the sofa.
Yeah.
I quite like lying down on the sofa, just sprawled out with some munchies and then maybe a beer to watch the Formula One because it goes on a bit, right? You know what I mean? So yeah. I quite like watching. I don't mind watching that.
Especially if there's a false start or something like that, you got to restart. You know what I mean?
I don't mind watching it as a solitary, solitary viewing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not really into golf, but I went through this period where if it was a nice sunny afternoon and I had nothing to do and golf was on, I'd lay down on the sofa and watch it because it can be quite therapeutic, right? Even the people that commentate, they all kind of have a way of commentating.
In the golf?
Rory steps up and I think he's got a number 9 there that he's going to try. Look at that. There's a pigeon in the background. Is that a rabbit in the background?
It's very calm, yeah.
It's a very soothing.
Yeah, it's very calm. Now you say it. Golf. Isn't it? Commentary.
It's very soothing.
It's like you're walking.
They talk about things like the colour of leaves this time of year.
Yes, yeah.
Things like that. Like you're walking in the background, poking his head out of a bush. It's very. even the claps are nice and soft and polite, aren't they? They're very.
Yeah, the claps are
very soothing.
There's no get up on them, get it up on them. Like football would be, you know what I mean? Michael,
sorry, go on.
Boise's in the house. Yeah, go.
He was just asking me what the deal is with the hat. We're having an Eze party. That's what's going on, boys, mate. We're having a party, which hasn't quite started yet.
We'll give it a few more minutes before we start talking about Eberechi Eze. The man who was waiting for Arsenal only Arsenal. And Some shame on some of you Arsenal fans out there who actually thought he was going to go to Tottenham. Actually thought that was going to happen. I think I will say, I'll save what I will say till a little bit later. We're
Good.
giving Gary a chance. We're giving Tony to clear the fog and join us. We're giving Alonso a chance to clear the
Oh,
grocery
look,
section,
come on.
the produce section.
If Alonso's coming, he'll probably be back to coming in for the 5 minutes before the end. You know the deal with Alonso.
All right, so Gary, put your pants on. Come on, let's go. Get ready.
Gary's just getting Gary's getting his tuxedo out of the loft, dusting it off, getting his cummerband on as we speak.
Tony, get the stick out of your wheels and let's go, Tony. Wheel that thing over here. Come on. No, he'll know. I'm not trying to be mean. He'll know. He'll see the funny side.
Let's talk about what Michael just brought up before we get there. Then Michael brings up
Rodrigo.
No, I was right at the bottom there about Trossard's new contract.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts
Yes,
on that?
that's a good little segue. A
What's your
good
thoughts on
little
that?
lead into the Eze chat. What's going on with that? Well, I had thought, and did listen, whilst I knew Eze would not go to Tottenham, I had thought, well, are we done now? Are we finished bringing players in? Because we're entertaining the thoughts of keeping Trossard for another, 2 seasons with improved. I don't care about the money. The money's not mine. Other people will care about the contract and that he's getting a little bit more money. But
Well, they haven't given him any extra time on the contract. It's just a pay rise.
Okay.
There's been no extension on the length of it. That stays as it is. That's what's weird about it. They've not extended the contract is in length. They've just given him a bump in wages. And for me, I'm like, well, I don't think his life is. He's got much more than a season left at Arsenal. And if we are going to be thinking of moving him on, because there was a lot of talk about, there's still talk about him. There was talk about him up until last week that he could be leaving, right? Aren't we just putting ourselves in a position now by giving him more money? It makes it hard for us to move him on at a later date because a buying club now has to pay him more wages.
Well,
so I don't understand
Saudi.
But Saudi don't care. But I mean, there's no guarantee. I don't understand why you'd make it harder to sell him later on down the road by giving him higher wages, unless there was some sort of clause in his contract that by X season with the club or X time that he has to get a pay rise, which then you'd start thinking, well, why does anyone put a clause like that in? Why would you give anyone that kind of a clause? But that's the only thing that I can think of why they would do it. I can't remember what he was actually on and what his pay rise takes him to. Yeah. But it just seems very odd to me that without extending the length of the contract, if he's going to be leaving the club within a season, we've just maybe made it harder to move him on.
Michael said he was very moody all year about his value, right? Listen, I remember this time last year when he scored the goal up at Aston Villa and he didn't want to celebrate because he'd been dropped from the team the game before. Now, question, Stan, do you feel that Trossard had a poor season last season?
No.
By his standards.
I look at him as a squad player. He's proven very good to come off as a clutch player and make things happen off the bench. But I mean, he didn't even make the bench for the Man United game. Right? He didn't make the bench.
Yeah.
And now that we've got more signings coming in, obviously there are rotation and cup games, but if he's not even making the bench, we're giving him a pay rise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Based on what? He wasn't our star player last season, and we're like, we've got to keep this guy and keep him happy. So I don't understand.
The fact that he can play a few different positions on the field is valuable, right?
Yeah,
It
but
has been valuable in the past.
but he's not a nailed-on starter.
No.
And Chris is saying that wasn't his contract done before Havertz went down. The length of his contract's not been extended. I don't know I don't know how long is left on his contract. I don't know if it's a season or 2 seasons, or even 3. I have no idea. But they've not increased the length of time, only the amount he's getting paid.
Yeah, as you say, Steven said here, wasn't Trossard's contract done before Havertz went down? Yes, it was done before Havertz went down, I believe.
Oh, you mean? Oh, I thought he meant like his contract had run out, as in done and finished.
No, he signed.
Right.
They signed them up, and then Havertz got injured. Now I happen to believe we did not sign Eze. It was not a panic buy. We've been talking to Eze and his crew and his people for many weeks right now. So I don't think we just went out and got Eze because Havertz got injured. They don't play in the same position.
Exactly. I was just about to say, if that was the case, if it was a case of scrambling to get someone to cover for Havertz because they were worried about that, then we would have brought in a striker.
Like Watkins or something like that. Would have tried for Watkins again, right?
Someone,
yeah.
You know, but I don't, you know, I don't see that as, I don't think that Eze was the catalyst.
Mm-hmm.
For, Havertz getting injured was the catalyst for them to get Eze. I think that they had that in the back of their mind because they were Tottenham, you know, Crystal Palace played in the Europa Conference game tonight against a team called Fredrikstad.
Yes.
And initially, before we hijacked everything,
you
know, they'd had a deal where he was going to play in that game. I mean, what kind of moves is that? What kind of moves is that? You want to buy this player, but you can play in that game. And I think that Eze was stalling. I think him and his agent were stalling. They wanted, you know, but, you know, if you're told that we're going to come in for you, you still got to hope that they keep their word. So you're going to keep all of your irons in the fire in case that didn't come off. And I suppose they were like happy to take Tottenham down the garden path. And if nothing did happen with his real destination where he wanted to go, that he'd have that to fall back on because he still wants to play football and he wouldn't have had to, you know, move far away because it's London. So I don't think that it was a knee-jerk reaction. I think the Eze thing was on the back burner. But I also heard, which sort of contradicts my last statement, that one of the good reasons that we managed to get that deal done was that what's his name? The son. What's his name? Josh was in London.
Josh, okay.
Was in London.
Yeah.
And this was, I think this might have come through Ornstein, that he was in London, and Arteta and Berta went to see him and put across an ironclad argument of why they should be signing Eze. And apparently there were some other voices, higher ups, that were concerned about PSR, but Josh Kroenke decided that he would back Mikel and Arteta and gave it the green light. So you've got to think then that if that was the situation, that unless there are any outgoings and money comes in quickly, or we get a loan with options to buy, we're not going to be bringing anybody else in for money. Because if they had to go to the governor and say, look, I know we were only going to be supposed to be doing this and spending this, but we need to do this, and he's had to sign off on it, then that wasn't part of the plan, right? It wasn't a part of the original plan.
No.
So it sounds to me that there's no actual money left to bring anyone in, unless, as I say, there's a swap deal or a loan deal, or, you know, we get some money in that we can splash out. And I mean, could you imagine on the last day of the window, just imagine on the last day of the window that we bring in Rodrigo on loan with an option to buy? I mean, that's just like...
Well, yeah. Well, you know,
you know what I mean? I mean, we've seen things like this happen.
BX
You know what I
kind
mean?
of said Rodrigo's agent is allegedly traveling to England to meet with Arsenal, City, and Liverpool reps, allegedly. So, you know, Liverpool and Isak might not happen, but there's some money burning a hole in Liverpool's pocket right now as well. So that's a little bit concerning, you know. Our clinical goal scorers can't be required to track back and press all the time. They need to be fed. Need to be fed in the box. And Bertie Bassett's bag of all sorts. Eddie was boring in comparison. I love that. Bertie Bassett's bag of all sorts. You know,
Yeah. I mean,
Andrea Berta.
I mean, I'm quite impressed with Berta because I've always felt for quite a while that we've kind of been very meek in transfers, very meek in the way that we go about transfers. You know, we'll only seem to go for a player if we know that there's no one else circling and the player only wants to come to Arsenal. We don't like to kind of try to gazump a deal. You know, we don't like to go toe to toe with another club for a player. You know, we try to look for the easiest way of doing deals where we don't have to sort of like get involved in anything. I don't really like that, to be honest. So with the way that we've gone in and snatched Eze, I mean, Berta properly flexed, man. That was a proper flex. He wears big boy trousers, and
Yeah,
I like it. And the fact that not only did he do that, he done it to our key rival. I mean, do you know what I mean? That's the sort of thing that gets you statues, or at least a gold watch, a pocket watch with an inscription on the back. Do you know what I mean?
they're calling him Don Berta. You know.
Yeah. I don't like all that Don stuff. It just last time we done that, we gave that title to someone. Do you know what I mean? It didn't work out too well, did it?
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. But you know, there's a body of work there this summer
I,
that
but I still think that you know we need. There's one part of his role that we haven't seen yet.
yeah,
There's two parts, I think, to his role. One side of it is the buying side and how you go about and conduct yourself and get deals done and how you're able to sell the plan, the vision of the club to a player to bring them in. But as equally as important, it's about how much money you can make from sales, you know? And he's still got a couple of weeks or so to show us what he can do in that area.
yep, yeah. I think about 10 days now till the end of the window. Sunday. I think it's a Monday. Monday. It's actually the 1st of September, midnight, 1st of September.
I saw a story where someone said that apparently Berta wants to be able to get at least around, I should say, 100 million in from sales. And I raised an eyebrow. I was like, really? If that happens, mate, I would be extremely impressed.
There's only a few things that Liverpool fans have left to, you know, give us crap about. Of course, winning trophies, right? Which hopefully we can put that one to bed pretty soon this season. The other one is the net spend question, Stan. And so Liverpool have had a serviceable team for the last 5 or 6 years and have been able to manage that correctly. On the other hand, Mikel Arteta, Josh Kroenke, and some of the backroom staff have had to retool the whole club, the whole squad. We've gone from the likes of, no disrespect to the likes of Liechtensteiner, Mustafi, Bellerin. We've gone from the likes of Czech to, you know, Raya, Saliba, Gabriel, White, Timber, to,
And
you
and
know, top
and
class players now.
and we are good payers when it comes to wages. We are good payers, and we've seen this where sometimes it's difficult for us to move players on because of their wages, which is one of the reasons why we seem to have a lot of deals where players go out on loan to
Is
play for
that,
clubs and then they come back. I mean, look at Reece Nelson.
yeah.
Can't get rid of him.
Is that a
Can't
product of
get rid of him.
playing in
Eddie,
London?
Eddie took a while, right, as well. You know, we give these players these wages. I mean, look at Martinelli's wages. right? Well, he's on 180.
Well,
And the
he's
jump,
been with us
what,
for 5 or 6 seasons.
but the jump, that's not what he came in on. The
No.
jump from I can't remember what his salary was before. Was it 40?
Probably you started about 40.
To 180. To
Yeah.
100 to 180.
Well, over 5 or 6 seasons.
And again, no, it was one jump, one contract. It was like a jump, big jump. Do you know what I mean? In one
His
contract.
agent did well for him.
Very well. But I mean, you look at it now, and Misfit in the boxes. I think was it Misfit or was it BX talking about? It was Michael, sorry, who was talking about the rumor, which I also saw going around, that a Saudi team is circling around Martinelli for 80 million. But for me, I look at it this way, right? I mean, he's got time left on his contract, right? Martinelli holds all of the cards. Is Martinelli really going to want to leave Arsenal to go and play football in the Saudi League in a World Cup year? He's not someone that's on his way out of the World Cup. He's not an older player that's coming out of international. He's just really kind of broken in. And I'm also thinking to myself, I also thought to myself, there's no way anybody is giving us 80 million for Martinelli, other than the Saudi club. Because they got the dosh. So the only reason I would say that Martinelli, if it were true, they'd have to get his permission, right? Because he holds all the cards. He doesn't have to go anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Is unless they're offering him rude salary, like 350, 400 bags, 1,000 bags a week. And Martinelli's like that. Yeah, I know I'm in the World Cup team and that, but you know what I mean? This is a lot of dough. And he goes, does a John Duran, for example, goes for the dough. And, I'm not sure, I don't know enough about the guy to know what is in his mind. Does he want to play football against good teams and have Champions League opportunities? Or does he want to go after Saudi, where he could be a better player there because of the quality of most of the players that come from that region, but earn loads of money, and it might affect him getting into the World Cup?
Yeah. Stephen, I'm going to stick a star on this question about Eze, and we'll come back to that one because we are talking about the job. We'll come back to that one, Stephen, for sure. As we build up the Eze Berta thing, we'll keep going on Andrea Berta.
He's going to get games this season, Martinelli, because now that we've got, I look at it this way now. Now that we've got Eze, this puts Madueke for me back into the bench or the place of where I expect him to be, which would be not as our left winger, but as a backup to Saka on the right.
Yeah.
In the position where he is more comfortable, and we can have a Martinelli backup for Eze.
Yeah, definitely.
And in some games, we might do a move where Eze starts on the left, but Odegaard may come off, and he may slip into that spot, and Martinelli comes on.
Yeah.
We may have cup games where Eze starts in the midfield in Odegaard's spot, and then you've got a Martinelli starting and a Trossard on the bench, or vice versa. Trossard starting and Martinelli on the bench. So I don't actually think that we're overcrowded in that area anymore, because as you say as well, Trossard isn't just a left wide player.
Yeah.
He can play inside. So, we all know, look, Arsenal get injuries like no one. We love an injury or two.
Yeah.
So, I don't see that bringing in Eze means that we have to get rid of Trossard or Martinelli. Now, if you bring in a Rodrigo, then we might be one heavy.
Yeah. And Trossard could be that player who would link up with Gyökeres as well. Imagine a creative player like Trossard right behind Gyökeres in that hole where Odegaard, Rice, or Eze might reside. The thing with Eze playing on the left as well would allow Miles Lewis-Skelly, you would think, a lot of room down the byline, the sideline.
Or Calafiori. I think that may be
That would be powerful.
I think when fit, that Calafiori is probably Mikel Arteta's preferred choice.
He's a hell of a player when he's fit, and he is a
But his defense is a little bit
chaos.
He's a little bit on the Zinchenko side for his defending for me.
Yeah,
and
but he does create a lot of chaos in the opposition.
He does,
half.
But I want my defenders to be able to defend first.
Yeah, it's a new world. It's a new game, Stan. Got to move with the times.
Yeah. Someone said earlier that we're getting old, and there you go.
Yeah. Retroholic said, I still feel Arsenal need another playmaker, as I feel Arteta will need to play a wide playmaker or winger at all times to get the best out of the Gyökeres. And that's kind of where maybe your left back, your wing back or whatever, whoever's going to be bombing down that left-hand side, it might not be Eze, but it could be Martinelli, it could be a Trossard, or it could be a Miles Lewis-Skelly, or a Calafiori, as we just mentioned. I'm sure Mikel Arteta's already drawn lines all over that left-hand side, trying to think of combinations for the players to move into and situations for them to play off of each other.
And we'll probably even get games where by the end of the game, Ben White is playing on the right of the defence and Timber's playing on the left. Because Timber is equally as comfortable on the left as well, right?
Yeah. Michael said, you'd think Berta could pull off a Rodrigo deal. It's getting difficult.
That would definitely get a for sure.
Yeah, but Stan, we've had 7. We've had, I think, 7 players now come in.
I think if that happened, right, my head would probably just explode like that geezer on that movie Scanners, and I'd probably have a heart attack at the same time if on the last day of the window we brought in Rodrigo online with an option or a what's the other word? Not the option where you have to buy.
Obligation.
An obligation. There you go. So I mean, it's not over. It's not over. And it's all well and good saying he might be talking to City and Liverpool, right? But we've just seen how talking and signing the contract are 2 different things. And my favourite one, I mean, my favourite. Okay, I'll save it. We are kind of talking about Eze anyway. We've been sprinkling it in, but talking about power moves.
Go for it.
Berta made a power move getting that. That was a power move. That really was. If you know who Vince McMahon is, and you see the way that he used to walk to the ring with his swagger, that's how Berta walks around. He has a Vince McMahon walk. And I mentioned earlier about how I've always felt for a long time the way that we act in the transfer market is kind of meek, very meek. We don't want to go in for a player if there's other teams going in. We want to only go for a player where we're the only one talking to the player because the player loves Arsenal. You know what I mean? And that's why I really love the way that we were just like, what's going on over there at Tottenham? Hang on a minute, I'll call you back. No. And just went and took care of business. And I think the last manager that we had that made power moves was Arsene Wenger. He made power moves, man. I mean, he managed to take Sol Campbell, the captain from Tottenham, to Arsenal on a free.
Yeah.
They didn't even pay any money. And my favourite one was the Emmanuel Petit signing. That has to be my favourite one. Emmanuel Petit, in case for those of you that don't know, he flies in from France, from where he was playing, to go and to speak to Tottenham. Tottenham want to sign him, and they send a taxi to pick him up at the airport. So he's in the car and he's on the way. And I think he arrived at Tottenham, but they hadn't gone in to sign anything yet. He gets the call on his phone. Someone calls him and his agent might have been with him, right? Someone makes a call and says, "You ain't signed anything yet, have you?" They're like, "No, we're just about to go in fact." And they're like, "Well, Arsenal want to talk to you." And I've heard Emmanuel Petit tell the story himself. He got back into the taxi that Tottenham were paying for, and it took him to Highbury. They even paid for the taxi to bring him to Highbury. He came to Highbury, spoke to Arsene Wenger, and signed a contract. You could probably imagine that. Meanwhile, back at Tottenham, looking at their watches and going like,
"Where is he?"
There must have been. Like, did he have a curry last night? He's been in that toilet a long time. Been in the toilet a long time. Maybe we should go in and see if he's all right. That is again, that's a power move. Look how good he was. Look how good he was as a player. You know, he was a blinding player, Emmanuel Petit. But you know what I'm saying is that when players hear that Arsenal come calling, that's it. There is power there. So much so that you turn around on your heels, you get in the car that they're paying for. You go, can you take me to Highbury?
Yeah.
That their captain. He was like a good captain, like a solid player, right? Sol Campbell.
Oh, Sol Campbell was good.
Comes to Arsenal with 3.
Yeah.
So, you know, this completes the hat trick with Eze.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. All right. So listen, this was Tottenham. This was our biggest rivals. The Tottenham fans were starting to get excited about this stand. They were starting.
I saw someone tweet before it all happened. Come on, they were Tottenham. They were like, "Come on, hurry up! I'm really worried that Arsenal might sneak in."
Yeah.
I was on the bus yesterday. Come home from work in the afternoon. I used the public transport. I had my headphones on, and I was listening to Talk Sport, and it was the sports bar with Jason Cundy and Jamie O'Hara, who used to play for Tottenham. They both played for Tottenham actually, but Cundy's Chelsea, but Jamie O'Hara, you know, staunch Tottenham, and he was getting it, and he had such a meltdown at the club and Daniel Levy, and I don't know what the other passengers thought because I was just sat there laughing out loud. Well, I was just laughing. Got off the bus on the little, like the 2-minute walk from there to come to the actual house, laughing. Mrs. was working from home yesterday. I'm opening the front door. I'm just laughing. I was just laughing for about a good hour, and then sat straight down, went to find as much as I could find about it, and was just laughing.
And read up and enjoy what you're reading, you know.
And some of the tweets that I've seen, that some of them are so funny. But my favourite one is. Well,
whilst you're looking for it, I might tell you it might be the same one. Fabrizio Romano's tweeting about Eze coming to Arsenal, and it's the game where Eze has probably scored against Tottenham. You see a Tottenham player in the background in anguish, and the guy was like, "What is that?" It's a cat.
And the tweet was,
"Get me out of here."
That was like Tottenham trying to enter Eze's negotiation room.
Yeah. And Berta's got his foot on the sliding door.
Bottom of the door.
The bottom of the sliding door. It's not happening. You will not get any further.
That was my favourite. But the meltdown.
We saw earlier in the season, I think it was at a Formula One race where Martin Brundle was trying to interview Bukayo Saka, and Bukayo Saka got slagged off because he didn't have anything to say. But he was hanging out with Eze. It was the England squad who were playing an international game, I think against Gibraltar maybe, or in Spain. And, it looked like they were mates at the time. And you see pictures of the England setup with Madueke, Eze, and Saka all hanging out together, kind of a little a pod.
You have to remember as well, I mean, and I would imagine it still happens, back in the 70s, 80s and that, and I've read a few players' books as well. Players, for example, that the clubs that are in London, right? You don't just have friends from the team that you play with. Yeah. Back in the day in the 70s, the 80s, when there were, probably there a lot of wine bars and that, and you might go out with a couple of players from your team, but during that night there may be a few players from another London team in the wine bar as well, and you're all together. Yeah. You might know a couple of them because you play internationally with them as well. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you're just in a bubble and you only see the opposition players when you play a game. You'll see them in London because you'll frequent the same kind of establishments, the same restaurants, the same wine bars, the pubs, right? And it wouldn't surprise me, you know, they're probably, and in this day and age, they probably got each other's gamer tags, and they've got the old headset on, and they're playing Minecraft or fucking FIFA with each other.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it wouldn't surprise me that they're pals.
So, you know, these moves are going to help Bukayo Saka. The likes of an Eze, a Gyökeres in our forward line. It's going to take some of the attention. It has to take some of the attention away from Bukayo Saka. We had become quite predictable in our attack, especially if Odegaard and Martinelli and maybe even Havertz weren't playing well. The opposition would put two players on Bukayo Saka. Yeah, I'll just keep waffling for a second. The opposition would keep tabs on Bukayo Saka. You'd have a winger, you'd have a midfielder, and you'd have a defender, and maybe even a fullback lining up, facing up against Saka. And I think even against Manchester United on Sunday, where, okay, Bukayo Saka was criticized a little bit because it was only Mason Mount in that left back area that he had to beat. But think about it, he wasn't being double teamed. He wasn't two or three players on him. It was just a Mason Mount. And as Bukayo Saka gets up to speed this season, you'll see his numbers improve as well, purely because the defenders have to pay attention to the likes of Victor Gyökeres, Eberechi Eze, yes, an Arsenal player now, and even Odegaard up front. Stephen said we couldn't sell all our deadwood and not get close. You couldn't sell all our deadwood and not get close to 100 million. I mean, it's a quantity. It's a number defined by quantity of players that we could have to sell. We could have upwards of 5 or 6 players, the likes of Reece Nelson, Lakonga, Fabio Vieira, players like that.
Here is a biography of Reece Nelson, teenage skateboarding.
Alexa, dismiss.
Alexa decides to chime up when she hears Reece Nelson's name.
Yeah, Reece Nelson, right? Crazy. Our selling has been criminal. And this is the second part, right, of Andrea Berta's remit. Berta needs time to change things. BX Gunner, you're right. But, you know, bring in some cash going the other way as well. While he might not play Stan this season, but we're getting Rodrigo.
I would like to say about Eze as well. For anyone out there that is a little bit worried or maybe having a concern saying, well, you know, it's not his preferred position, you know, is he going to be able to, you know, work for the team and give us what we need? Because Martinelli, he does, you know, say what you want about him, he ain't lazy. He gets back in that defence.
No, he works. Yeah.
He gets back, right? And helps out. And I think Mikel Arteta really appreciates that. If you're worrying about Eze, right, might be, you know,
Eze works hard.
Whether it's going to be, is he going to get fed up after a while playing out of his favourite position, or is he going to be able to do all the things that we need? I think that every right chat Eze will make it work, and I'll tell you why. You have to remember that this is a guy, right, who was a kid at Arsenal, and at the age of 13 was told, "Sorry, son, we're going to have to cut you. You're not good enough to be at Arsenal. We're going to let you go."
Yeah.
And I heard that he went home, and I saw something that he wrote. There was a picture of him in his little Arsenal kit, probably the same age. Said that when he got that news, he went home and he just cried for hours and was comforted by his mum. Now here he is, right, at 27 years old, and he probably thought to himself that the chances of playing for the club that he grew up supporting has probably passed him by now. You know, he's established at Crystal Palace, 27. You know, he might be thinking that, that boat has sailed. So for him to get the opportunity to come back to Arsenal, I bet he can't believe it.
Yeah.
I bet for him it's like all of his Christmases, birthdays, Easters, and Yom Kippurs all coming at once, all on the same day.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet you, right, he ain't going to have a problem playing on the left. He will make it work because he's going to want to make it work being an Arsenal player. I reckon if you asked him to play and go, he'd be like, no problem, as long as I'm playing. stick me in goal if that's what you want. Yeah, I'll play it right back. I reckon that he's just so good, as you and I would be, right?
Yeah.
Or anybody else in the chat box who got the opportunity to play for their club. I bet you cannot believe that at the age of 27, it's happening.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Such a stylish, powerful, physical player. He'll be, I think it wasn't a problem because he's from London. He's in the area. He's not going to have any adaptation.
Knows every ground, knows every team.
He knows the English players he's going to be playing with. Declan Rice. He knows Bukayo Saka, Madueke. So he's going to fit in. Ben White, I'm sure, from the England setup before, So he'll fit right in, and he's got the skills and he's got the ability to carry the ball. I think something as well that we've not had in the team is to be a carrier of the ball, attack with the ball at your feet, and finally to be able to find players when the key pass is required. Something we've missed, and I think Gyökeres will welcome Eze as well.
But I also, Arsenal are very good at unveiling players, doing the unveiling, on social media, and the way that they welcome players and stuff like that. I mean, for me, one of the best ones was Lewis Skelly re-signing his contract, and he extended his contract, and they took him for a walk and led him out onto the pitch, and in one stand they had his family, uncles, cousins, mum, dad, friends, people from school, and again, I mean, that's a nice little touch, right? Yeah. But I think I'm looking forward to see Eze because it's got to be, the theme is going to be about coming home, returning home. He was one of ours and he's come home. And if you think that not Martin Odegaard, that Nordegaard, when he shed a tear for his unveiling, what this is going to mean to Eze, just make sure you've got a lot of tissues and a mop and a bucket because he's going to be balling. Surely.
Yeah.
Surely he's going to be balling, man. Balling, as Jamaican men would say.
Trossard, just getting back here. Trossard hardly ever plays wide. He plays where Martinelli used to play in the wing and in between the 6 and 18-yard line. We're going to stay on Eze for a little bit longer as well. Down in one area, Malzo, Skelly, Rice, Eze, Madueke, Saka, White. There's the English core we're getting back to with Arsenal. How did Havertz get injured? I know it was a knee injury. It was maybe in training as well.
No, he got injured by Ugarte in the Man United game. That's what I heard.
Okay, yeah.
There was a challenge on him by Ugarte, and it ended up. I don't know. The only thing what I don't know is how long the injury, how bad it is. I don't know if it's a matter of weeks, months, or a season. I don't know.
We have, but now we did say in the last week or two during these podcasts, Stan, that every team's going to carry one or two injuries as they go through the season. You're going to have one or two, as long as it doesn't go beyond 2, 3, 4, 5 injuries. Then you're starting to hurt the players that can be on the bench, as we talked about earlier. Michael said City, Liverpool, Chelsea have brought in a lot of new players. Arsenal have done 7 now. Arsenal have done 7 in this window. Are we approaching? Go. What do you want to say?
I was going to say also, when people say, well, Eze's going to be blocking the pathway for a player like maybe a Dalman or a Waneri. And for me, I'm like, don't be too sentimental. This is about winning. And now what it means is that someone like Waneri or Dalman, they have to raise their game because they've got now competition. And we've got a stronger team and a player that could actually help to get us over the line. I'm pretty sure that Waneri's going to get minutes, Carabao Cup, FA Cup. You know what I mean? They're going to get their minutes. They're going to get their minutes. What it means is that we don't have to use some of our main starters and run them into the ground in some of those cup games because, we shouldn't have to run Zubamendi into the ground when we can put in an Odegaard. Odegaard, Odegaard was a first team player in the league. He's a captain. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have to run Saka into the ground if we can bring in a Madueke. We don't have to run an Eze into the ground if we've got a Martinelli. So you know they're going to get their time.
100%. BX Skinner says, if you don't want to speak, don't go on the grid. The grid walk is serious. LOL. Yeah, and what's his Martin Brundle's serious, right? I remember the exact moment I heard about Campbell. We had just sat down for dinner, and Mum put the BBC on our shortwave radio. Dad and I looked at each other and started cheering like mad. Yeah, that was a madness, bringing a press conference, and nobody knew that Sol Campbell was coming to Arsenal, and Sol Campbell was the invited player or guest.
The funniest thing that I saw about
press conference.
when the Sol Campbell thing happened, one of the London newspapers, like the Sun or the Mirror, there was this one-page advertisement, and I think it was paid for by whoever Sol Campbell's boots were, Nike or Adidas, and it was just like a white blank page, and at the top of the page there was a square box that said Arsenal. Near the bottom of the page there was another square box that said Tottenham, and then there was like a broken dotted line leading from Tottenham to Arsenal with an arrow on the end, and in like child's handwriting or something, it said this is the fastest route to Europe.
I never heard that story.
I remember seeing it. It was in the newspaper. It was like a page thing that they. And I thought, man, that is. I'm going to look it up, see if it's on Google.
That's
I
cold.
remember looking at that and thinking that is cold.
Yeah.
It said fastest route to Europe. Brilliant.
The introduction of Eze in the back of a taxi going to Tottenham. Saka rings him, tells Eze, come home. Bro, Eze turns around. Sol Campbell calls Eze to sign for the Arsenal. Yeah, a little bit of what we're talking about there, Tiger and Gunnar.
Joined us. Welcome, John, to the Eze party.
Yeah, Red John is here. All right. Eze is good. Eze is good. Eberich is good. Put a tune to these lyrics. I don't know if I can do that. How many goals would he get? So this is a good question. He got 8 goals in the Premier League last season and 8 assists. Stan, I would ask Eze to break 10 goals.
Well, I'd like to think that
this season in the league.
I'm just bringing up his stats to have a quick look.
8 and 8 in the Premier League.
In 34 games, he got 8 and 8. Only 1 yellow card.
Okay.
The season before that, 23-24, he featured in 27 games. Obviously, we don't know if there's how many he started off the bench or anything like that, but 27 games, so less games. He got 11 goals and 4 assists. Season before that, 22-23, he played 38 games and he got 10 goals and 4 assists.
Yeah.
So you could actually say that last season was a bit of a bad one for him, right? And there's more to come. You know, if he can get 10, 11 goals a season, in Crystal Palace's team, no offense to them, you'd like to think that we've got we've got better players. We should be able to, but you got to remember as well, when you look at the assists, how many balls did he put through that weren't converted?
Yeah.
He might have got 8 assists, but he could have put through like 15 odd chances, right?
Sure.
If you got the right person at the end, that's going to take you up.
Yeah. I can see him on a quick transition carrying the ball and finding Gyökeres in stride. And you know what happens after that, right?
And then it's down to Gyökeres to do his bit.
Yeah.
Or Havertz, whoever it may be.
I used to buy the Daily Mirror.
The one thing that I find
back in the day
is that we've basically paid what the release clause was, I believe. I think it's like what we've paid for is £60 million. I don't know what the structure is. You know what Arsenal love to do, like their little bits and pieces over a period, but it's 60 million, and then the add-ons are about 7 million, and I think his release clause was 68 million. So, like, is this what we do to save $1 million? This is how we operate. Yeah, we saved $1 million. Maybe it's something like that, right? And you know, it all counts at the end of the day. Every little bit helps.
Yeah.
But what I do like about it is I always, you know, especially with the Gyökeres deal, it was so protracted. You know, the length of the time it was taking. But you know, on the whole, though, if you look at Arsenal, when they go in for a player, they do try to get it done pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Well,
Zubimendi
was done well in advance. Was done well in advance. Nordegaard didn't take that long to get done. Madueke didn't take that long to get done. Kepa didn't take that long to get done. And as we've just seen with Eze, you know, so they have shown us that when they want to move, they can move. It's maybe sometimes those bigger deals like your Declan Rice and your Gyökeres, you know, they take a little bit more time. But generally, we've been very swift in getting our business done. Do you know what I mean? Remember when Fabio Vieira turned up? Everyone was like, didn't even know he was on his way. We woke up one morning. It's like everybody woke up one morning and we had an extra player with Fabio Vieira. It's like, when did that happen? So I think when it comes to transfers, and you have to think as well, Edu was involved as well. So I know a lot of people give Edu his stick, but when we moved for players, we were quite quick. You know, and I like to see that, and I'm happy to see that we're keeping that up. I mean, that Eze deal was just like rapid.
Yeah, so you know, we knew about Zubimendi, we knew about Gyökeres, but we didn't know quite if it was going to be Eze or Rodrigo. So this adds to the excitement a little bit that, you know, it was done so quickly as well. You know, when we moved, like you said, when we moved for Eze, it was decisive, and it happened very quickly, and so much so that he was going to play today for Crystal Palace, but he did call the manager and the club and say he wasn't feeling well. So, like, it's an excuse for him not to have played for Crystal Palace one final time. He probably didn't want to risk an injury that would scupper the deal.
That's too much of a risk.
Yeah.
You know, I think he was advised by Arsenal that, you know, whereas Tottenham, that's how they move, right? They were like, yeah, you can go and play in that game. I mean, what are you talking about? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
So, and 24 hours from now, in the next 24 hours will be vital. I don't know if we'll see him on Saturday lining up for the Arsenal, but I don't see any reason why he wouldn't. Do you know what I mean?
If he was still playing for Palace, he'd still be in the squad, right? He's not injured or anything.
Yeah.
It's not like he's flown over. It's not like he's had to fly over. Doesn't know anything. Doesn't know where he's even going. And the man is like sit in the stands and watch.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that Eze could either start or at least come off the bench. You know?
Yeah. On Saturday, and you know, when you go to the pub
as long as he's registered. I don't know how many hours it is before a game. As long as they've got the deal done, and that's probably why he's not playing tonight, so that they can do that. You know, all of the social media filming, all that stuff. Go and get his medical done. You know, have his cough drop.
Yeah.
Have the official picture of him doing the old cough drop. The official picture of him signing the thing with Arteta and Berta. They've got to do all of that and get him registered. So why can't he play on Saturday?
No, I don't think there's any reason. No. I don't think there's any reason why not. There's not a huge amount to be done. You know, he probably doesn't even have to move from where he's living.
Think about it this way, right? He put Mosquera on the bench against Man United, who hasn't played in this league yet, and left Kivior out. Kivior's played, so he's not. You know, he's not scared. So as long as he's registered, he could be in the starting lineup or part of the squad.
100%. Red John's first comment was, "Congratulations, Ray and Stan, and all other Arsenal fans. If this comes true, we just won the Premier League." I don't know if that's true, but it definitely does help us in in that endeavor this coming season. Unless that Isaac transfer goes through, I think the Premier League is done. Does this make us favorites right now without a Rodrigo or Isaac at Liverpool?
Well, let's say this transfer window just shut. There's no one else coming in for any other
Right
club.
now.
Let's
Yeah.
judge it on right now.
Yep. You got Salah, you got Ekitike, you got Verts.
Well, look, and I know that Red John's not going to like this, and there's going to be smoke coming out of his nostrils when I say this. My big concern is the time it might take Gyökeres to settle in.
Okay.
And, the way that he was playing in Portugal, whether that's going to translate and just be like, wow, this guy is mustard. That's my worry.
Yeah.
Obviously, I want him to blow it up. He done terrific last season in Portugal.
I think
I've not seen enough of him yet to see how that's gonna work out.
there's nothing to tell me that it won't work with Saka and Eze Odegaard providing the ammunition for Gyökeres.
Even if he doesn't score at Leeds, at home to Leeds,
Yeah.
I at least want to see him putting the goalkeeper under pressure.
Right.
And the goalkeeper has a worldie.
Or
That's what I want to see.
just
He doesn't have to score for me.
create something
He
for
creates something,
Saka.
and he puts the goalkeeper under pressure.
Yeah.
Because it's a 50-50 thing, right? We've got to get used to, well, when I say we, I'm talking about the existing players. They've got to get used to this guy. We didn't buy a carbon copy of Kai Havertz. What I mean by that is we didn't go out and buy a player to play in that same way that Havertz does. That's not the profile of Gyökeres, right? Which means that the rest of the players, that there has to be an adjustment to him, but equally, he does have to adjust himself to us as well. It's a 50-50 thing.
Right. Red John says Eze is the game changer. I believe that as well. This is a silky player with skills, physicality. He can get the ball back. He can move fast with the
Imagine
ball.
it, right? Imagine it from him. As I said earlier about him, leaving at 13, and I bet he can't wait. Not only is he coming to the club that he supports, it's not like the club that he supports is a mid-table team or a team that fights to keep out of the relegation zone. His team plays in the Champions League, and for the last few seasons has finished second, one time only by 1 point. Surely you'd be thinking to yourself, I want to be the difference. If we're capable of getting second, I want to do enough to help us come first. It's not like mid-table where you're like, well, I'm not going to win the league with this team, but I'm playing for the team that I support. He's got the opportunity to win stuff. And he's got a taste for it. Also, as well, when it comes to winning, he's probably the most experienced of. He won an FA Cup. These guys haven't.
Yeah.
Into semi-finals and stuff, but he actually won an FA Cup. He's got a taste for it.
Like you said as well, he's coming back to the Arsenal at the age of 27 years old. After this is a lesson in perseverance. This is a lesson in keep working hard and you'll realize your dreams. Like he was cut from Arsenal as a kid, an academy kid, and had to go back to the lower levels of the league pyramid, right, and work his way back up to where he was playing well in the championship. I think for QPR, Crystal Palace bought him. He's been with Crystal Palace for 2 or 3 years and gradually became a big fish in that smaller pond and ready for this jump up to the Premier League, where he can end what we have to say is a drought in Premier League terms for Arsenal right now. Since 2004, we haven't won the Premier League.
Good shout, John. I forgot about that as well. Yeah, Rice has also won the European trophy, so he knows about winning as well. Good point. But, with Eze, he's just turned 27. June, end of June. So it's not like he's going to be 28 before the end of the year, you know. And I was always, you know, I remember someone saying that a football player, it's probably different now with fitness and the way players evolve and the longer they can stay in the game. But back in the day, again, someone mentioned earlier that we're old, but back in the day, they used to say that, you know, football players start getting into their peak or are at their peak at 27.
Right.
So, you know, if we hold that to be true, you know, we're getting a player that is, you know, coming into the best that he can be. And we've already seen what he can do. You know, he can be a match winner. He's a sort of player that he goes for the full 90.
Yeah. He can be a majestic player in the Premier League.
He's not scared when it's 0-0 to pop up and have a go on the 93rd minute. Some players might go for that sideward pass and try and slip someone in. He's not scared to have a go.
Exactly.
And sometimes, invariably, they go in, and they've just walked away with 3 points.
As Michael said, Palace were playing tight games. He felt in the Premier League and in the FA Cup. So I'd imagine our hope for 15 goals, stacked AF from Red John. So the stand. So we know we've heard your opinion on Eze.
Yeah.
So what is Dennis's opinion on Eze?
You want to know Dennis's opinion?
Yes.
Hold on. Dennis! Come on. Come on.
Who is Dennis?
All right, Dennis, how are you? He says he's really well. He says he's really happy. He says he can't believe Chicken FC have got fucking hijacked again. So anyway,
the cock and ball.
Give everyone a wave. There you go. So anyway, Dennis, we just want to know what you think of Eze and the effect that he'll have on the team.
Oh.
Good point. He says that he thinks that he's going to be a really effective player. He thinks that the ability that Eze has is going to really help us on the transition and get a defensive, like, what do you call it? Oh yeah, he said a defensive turnover, and before you know it, we're on the attack and a ball gets
transition
to Gyökeres.
Right. Yeah.
Anything else?
And I, if I may say something as well, Stan.
Well, bye, Dennis. Say goodbye to Dennis.
Bye, Dennis. I do have something to say that is in reference to Dennis as well. So, okay. He can be gone, and we can talk about Dennis.
Dennis.
I do think though what Eberechi Eze has that Dennis Bergkamp had in spades was the ability to understand the angles to play a ball to a player between a defender and a fullback, and also the pace on the ball that is not too long or too short. We saw that up at Old Trafford, I think, when I think Odegaard was trying to find Martinelli or Saka. That it was overplayed. I think Eze has that ability to measure a ball perfectly into a player's stride and to hit him at the right angles as well and the right time. So I think those are the things we're going to get from Eze when we're going to be able to see as the season goes on here.
You know, sometimes when I talk about a player and I go, oh, he looks like he's lacking in confidence. He doesn't look like that. He ever lacks in confidence.
No.
Because he's not afraid. He's not afraid to try things. If he tries something and it don't come off, he ain't going to hide in the game. If he's given another opportunity, he'll try again.
Yeah.
And again, you know, as I mentioned, he seems like that player that he'll keep going to the whistle goes. You know, if it's he could pop up with a goal on the 93rd minute because he went and tried something rather than trying to slip someone in or passing it sideways, passing it backwards. His mind is, I want to try and score. I want to try and, you know what I mean? He's very single, very direct in the way that he plays.
And
I hope that is not coached out of him. I hope he's allowed to flourish because he's going to play the left side differently to Martinelli. Martinelli, we know, he likes to hug the chalk a bit. He's like a traditional winger.
Yeah.
He likes to get down to the corner flag and look for a cutback or get into that area and try to trick his way past the player. Whereas I think that Eze tends to kind of drift from that side more central, quicker. I can't see him coming down to the corner flag and looking for a cross. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting again in what's he going to be told to do.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, well, you're in the team, but you got to play the position this way, or is it going to be a case of, listen, you know, we know what you can do, just go and do that. You know that thing that what you do, just do that. That's what we want to do. I hope it's not a case of, well, listen, you know, you might have been able to do all of that in Crystal Palace, but you're not at Palace now. Now you've got to do a little bit of this, you've got to do this, some of that. And I think a good example, you could say maybe, you know, what happened to Jack Grealish leaving Aston Villa and going to Man City, and the way that he plays football had to change. You know, to get in that City game, Pep was very stringent on how you play that position. And as we all know, the apprentice of Pep is Mikel.
Yeah, I would love.
What do you think about that? You know, do you think that he's going to be given? You know, release the house, or is he going to be told, hold on, before you go out there, you got to do that, and make sure that. And when he's there, you got to be and blah blah blah. And you see Martinelli when he's always tackling back.
If it was me, Stan, if I was Mikel Arteta, I would be saying, you have free license in that half of the field, all the way from the center of the field to the corner flag. You've got free license to attack. Of course, drift into the right-hand side if the play takes you that direction. You know, the ball, if you're making space for Calafiori coming down the left and the ball's being played behind you, you know Calafiori's getting the ball by the corner flag and the cross is coming in. Storm into the box then, of course.
That's why we've got to think and make a change there, because if we're going to have a left-sided forward, winger, whatever you want to call it, and he's not going to play in the way that Martinelli does. He's not going to go down to the corner flag, the byline, and into that area. If he's going to start coming inside a lot earlier, the last thing that we want is the left back behind him coming into them spaces as well. You got
but they will operate.
Operate. You don't want to be running in. What I'm saying is, right, when Eze plays on the left-hand side, you're going to have a left back that is going to be more of a Nigel Winterburn, as in occupying, so that when he goes that way, we've got somebody who's kind of in that area as well, and that's not all naked. Because when he goes that way, you don't want the left back also. Do you know what I'm getting at? There's all this fucking space now.
Well,
all this space.
What I'm seeing is Eze going. What I'm seeing is Eze going from that inside left, like the left 8 area. Not really a winger. We know he's not a winger, right?
Because you got Martinelli. Martinelli goes straight up the line, and when he's doing that, sometimes you get the left back. You know what I'm getting at? Providing another person, so that if he gets the ball in there, there's stuff going on. But we don't want to see we don't want to see that. Have I just come up like a new tactical way of showing people things with your hands? Have I just come up and invented something?
No, it's
we can't afford we can't afford a little board.
You need a board.
We can't even afford an intro or an outro anymore.
I have a board.
Let alone a fucking tactics board, all right? So just
I have a board, but I'm not taking it out. I'll take it out on Sunday. I'll take the board out on Sunday.
That's not another euphemism, is it?
Yeah.
Like the Disney bag.
It'll be like moving pieces around,
Ray's got a board that he's getting out on Sunday. Right?
It's not like Disney on Ice. Our attack needs to be sharp like razor blades, so there's not going to be any razor blades either.
But what do you think, though? Do you think he's going to be given license.
Free reign. He's got to have some license. He's got to be given some license.
But what if he's given? What if Mikel Arteta's smart? He gives him rope to hang himself. And he gives him free license. Doesn't go well for a couple of things, and he goes, right, now this is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Soon as there's a ricket, he then can.
Listen.
I don't know. I mean, I think Mikel Arteta. Does Mikel Arteta give players license? If he gave players license, he wouldn't be continually barking in his technical area. He wouldn't be continually barking and trying to land aeroplanes, directing traffic from his.
I remember Zinchenko. I remember.
He'd be sat down and he'd leave his players to do a bit more. So, you know.
I remember Zinchenko having that license to attack, you know, and turning up in the inside right position where Saka would be. You know, I did.
But I think that was part of the plan. I think that was part of Arteta's plan, though. That's what he wanted. He wanted that. He wanted to end up with 5 in and around the box, right?
Yeah.
Found out 5 that he likes. That's part
where
of the plan.
is Tiger and Goon is asking, where is the rest of the lads tonight? Well, we have Dennis.
Listen, letters from HR have been filed and are ready to send, so don't worry about that.
You need to get another camera. You need to get a webcam for Dennis.
And again, yeah. And who needs them?
I can give Dennis a link.
We've got Dennis.
I could give Dennis a link, and you know, Dennis could be sitting there participating.
I mean, look,
podcast.
Fuck your arse blogs in your Arsenal Vision. None of them have got Dennis. None of them have got Dennis. So,
just saying.
Just going to leave it out there.
Okay. In reality, just as we're about to end the podcast, Alonso will join us. You know this, right? This has happened before. Gary's having trouble fitting into that tux. You know,
so hold on.
Gary was just at the Player of the Year awards.
Yeah, of course he was. He was probably handing out the awards.
And Tony's stoned.
So we never really answered the question. Just to rewind a little bit, we asked if the season shut today and that was it, no other players are moving anywhere, where is this team going to finish? And we kind of, after I said my concerns about Gyökeres coming from the other league, we never went on. So we're looking at all of the business that's been done.
Are we favourites now? Right?
Are we? I don't know. I've not looked at officially. Do you think we're favourites?
I think the Eze deal right now might tip us as favourites. You know, rival fans are going to say that we're favourites, even though you mentioned on Sunday. I think you mentioned on Sunday that Man City looked pretty good with Reinders and Cherky alongside Haaland and the other players. Man City, they had a pretty.
Man City looked revitalised.
Had a pretty decent, and they'll play Tottenham on Saturday morning as well. Before
I don't know. I don't know if anybody else in the chat box saw it, but I was watching that game. Reinders, man. I was watching Reinders, right, and I was like, that's what I want Odegaard to play like. Yeah. That's what I want Odegaard doing. What Reinders was doing.
Lively is pretty lively on the ball, probing, passing.
And again, right, this is a guy that. You know, he's not played in the league before.
He's been playing
in the Dutch league, which is not one of the strongest leagues. I used to live in that in the Netherlands, right? And sometimes it don't work out. We're lucky with Timber. Geezer was mustard, mate.
Good.
I was really impressed with him. I'm like, oh, next time I do a FIFA career mode, Reinders.
Wow.
And then he went off, and they brought on Cherky. And I was like, another note for my FIFA career mode, Cherky, because he was good as well.
Yeah,
you know, and you've got Haaland, who can bang them in. And so what I'm thinking there is that okay, they're going to lose Kevin De Bruyne, who's a good player, but he wasn't as mobile as he used to be, right? You know, and he would get injured quite a lot and miss quite parts of the season. They've just brought in 2 players, and I don't think it's going to be one of them where you're going to be like De Bruyne, who? Oh yeah, the ginger guy, Kevin. Yeah, he was good for us. you're not going to be crying over him going, from what I could see. You know, if that was any indication, those two look very good. And I'm thinking to myself, I want to see. That's how I want to see Odegaard influencing games like they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we've only seen the one game this season, and he wasn't terrible. He was having shots, but I'm just going off of the chunk of last season. To be fair,
You want more? You need to see more.
Chunk of last season, it was just like there were times when it was like, why aren't you not taking them off earlier? Because it's literally like playing with 10 men, and that's a handicap. We need 11 players, not 10. Do it now. And there were games where he wouldn't even get taken off. And it was like, fucking hell, we managed to get a point there with 10 men. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And I'm not dissing on, I'll try. I like Odegaard.
We just need to see more.
To come back.
You need more. You need more vibrancy. You need speed, more speed from Odegaard. You need passing, quicker passing. I think he just falls into a rhythm of passing that's a little bit slow as well. Well said, Brad John.
Instead of doing that lobbed pass from the right hand side,
the scoop pass.
Balls.
Yeah,
try more through balls. Try and thread the needle a little bit more.
Yeah,
try and put someone through that way, maybe a bit more. But I do think that he looked better in that Man United game, and towards the end of last season, you can see there was an improvement coming again towards the end of last season. But the chunk of last season smelt like bad garbage, man. It wasn't. It was just like, it can smell like the potato peeling and everything. And you're just like, fuck that. It was bad. And I really like him. And I'm really, he's one player that I really want to come good again. I really want him to come good.
Yeah. Michael's last comment. Funny.
Yeah. When does Alexa think Arsenal will finish the league? Go on, ask her. You got one. Go on.
Alexa, where will Arsenal finish in the Premier League this season?
Here's something I found on the web. According to fansided.com, sitting 6th in the Premier League table, Arsenal have no chance at cracking the top 4 this season.
We're not inviting her on again.
No.
You said that Arsenal can't get into the top 6.
We're sitting 6th right now, so we can't get into the top 4.
Really?
At the end of the season, yeah.
All right.
Do I have to rephrase it? Alexa, will Arsenal win the league?
Sorry, I don't know that.
Alexa,
I don't know that.
will Arsenal win the league?
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Okay. All right. What does she know, right?
What does she know?
I suggest Tottenham sign Sterling or loan him for a season.
It's time to get another beer.
All right. All right. So tell me, everybody, what you think about Andrea Berta. Yeah, and she gets the sack, that one. Red John. She's going to get the sack. Unplugged. Just Spurs and United left, and he can retire, accomplishing his dream of being a mercenary. That's crazy. Sterling has been in a lot of the big teams. Rice won the European trophy. Yeah. Did Madueke win the World Cup? Well, he was in the squad that won the World Cup. He had to travel to Arsenal to seal the deal. Ben White needs to stay 1 meter from the wall. Michael, if you want to meet up let me know when you're in Perth, mate. So looks like Michael may be moving down there. Ray, do you know the duration of Havertz's injury? I don't think Eze's signing was related to Havertz's injury, as we said before.
But playing his position, is he?
No. Not at all. But
I bet you would if you asked him, though.
I'm going to guess that a thigh injury or a knee injury would be at least a couple months for Havertz. I'm going to say 2 months, and that's without me knowing anything at all. Apparently, we have too many left footers, says Michael. As is type of player who needs to be given freedom. If Arteta tries to play him like he does with Odegaard, we won't unlock Eze's full.
Thing is with left footers, right?
True.
So a lot of left footers are also not bad on their right, whereas a lot of right footers, they're not really good on their left. They're very strong on their right. So
Yeah.
rare commodity.
Eze's not someone who needs to be used robotically like Odegaard. Yeah, I mean, this is the player we bought. We want this player.
You still didn't tell us where you think we would finish had the window shut right now. Tell us in the chat box, where do you think we'll finish if the window shuts now, no other players are going anywhere else?
We have to. We have to win it. We have to win it, right? You know, what are we going to say? Second again? Worse than second? No. You have to go for it. Eze's almost like Ian Wright all over again.
The difference between what you want to what you actually believe or think logically. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I still don't think that we. Basically, the reason why I say that I don't think we could win it, because I still think there is a team, or maybe teams, that are just slightly better than us.
Yeah, I think
as in who they have playing for them.
Yeah, I think we don't know. As we said, we don't know what Man City's like right now. They're playing. They played Wolves and beat them handily. We'll know they're going to play Tottenham on Saturday. Liverpool, I think, might struggle with the expectation of having to repeat and win. So herein lies Arsenal's opportunity. We have just had one of the better windows in many, many years. Andrea Berta is cooking, and we have an opportunity to, without anybody talking about us winning the league, an opportunity to put pressure on Liverpool and Man City at the start of this Premier League. And the next 4 or 5 games are going to be tricky, as was, the beginning. Going to Old Trafford was tricky, but we got 3 points there. Now, when we play Leeds at home, we have an opportunity to win that game and put pressure on Liverpool, who are going to play go to Newcastle and play them on Monday. That'll be spicy. And then we go to Anfield, with an opportunity to lay down a marker very early in the season.
So just before we go too far away from that one,
you
mentioned Newcastle and Liverpool.
Yeah.
What's your take on this whole Isak situation and what's going on there? I mean, we saw, first of all, Isak released a statement, didn't he? Haven't spoken yet, and promises were made. Promises haven't kept. The club knows what we spoke about. Blah, blah, blah. I think this is the best thing that could happen for everyone. If a deal is done, he's not. He's basically on strike. But again, I never get it. It's like, if it's gone that bad, why have you not put in a formal transfer request? Why have you not done that? He hasn't done that. And then it was a little bit
poorly advised.
Newcastle, they put out a statement. We still consider him part of the family. They spoke about the fans. They said that they haven't received anything of what they would be. I can't remember the way they worded it, but they'd even consider. They would, they would welcome him back, sort of stuff like that. Where do you think this goes? How does this finish? Do you see Liverpool coming back in with an improved bid?
There's already been talk about that today, but I think Liverpool have fumbled. This is going to be a hot take that a lot of people might not agree with. I think Liverpool have fumbled this window. I think that they have overspent for Florian Wirtz, close to 150 million. I think it was close to 150 million euros.
Yeah, 130 pounds, right? Would probably be 150.
Yeah, 126, something like that. English pounds. It's a lot of dough. They needed to buy fullbacks. They got Frimpong and they got Kirkes.
If
those are decent players.
That money, I'm expecting prime Ozil when he was prime. As in talent. That's what you don't get in at. Yeah, that's what I'd be expecting. And I know that I've heard. I've heard that he's a good player. That's a lot of dough.
Well, it's a lot of dough on one player specifically. If he gets any injuries, we better hope they don't have injuries like Arsenal had
I
injuries
think Frimpong's
last season.
an injury.
Frimpong and
Right back.
Kirkes, those are decent buys. The fullbacks are
I
decent
think he's got an
buys.
injury. I don't know if it's bad or what, but I think he's
I don't
not
know.
available for this game. Frimpong.
I think they really fumbled this, Stan, because what they did is, okay, they acted like big boys, and all the Liverpool fans love this because they went and bought Ekitike when that was going to be Newcastle's Isak replacement.
What was it? But did Iteke, was he happy to go to Newcastle? I mean, look at Tottenham, right? They've had 3 players have said no, right? They've had Morgan Gibbs-White.
Wow.
It's like, no, that was supposed to be a deal. Obviously, we know about Eze, and who was the other one? There was another one.
Wissa.
So, I mean, do you know what I'm getting at?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because Newcastle also.
Listen to this, though.
Newcastle have had trouble trying to attract people as well.
Well, listen to this. If Liverpool don't get involved in that transfer, Ekitike goes to Newcastle, right? And then the opportunity for Isak.
The only option, yeah.
Then the opportunity for Isak to leave is more open.
And if you're Ekitike, surely if Isak walks in the door, don't you go to HR and say, hold on a minute, at no point did anybody tell me that geezer was coming in. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So, I think Liverpool have acted improperly, and Newcastle feel it. They've acted improperly, and now I agree with what Newcastle are doing. If I'm Newcastle, I'd be like, we're not doing anything for at least 1 year. Isak is going to stay with us for this coming season. There's an opportunity. They've said it. Eddie Howe has said it. He'll be welcomed back into the fold once the window closes, and he'll play for Newcastle again.
Would the ownership of Newcastle be firm enough to just blow off a 140 million deal with add-ons?
I don't believe they'll let that money go begging either.
Because they've got money.
Yeah, they've got money. They've got money. You can get 130 million for Isak next season again.
Or do you know what? I'll tell you how another way that this could play out. We get to the end of the transfer window. Liverpool don't come back in, or he's still at Newcastle. All of a sudden now, Isak's got a back pain. He's got this back niggle. He's fucking playing. Oh, I can't even sleep. I can't even put my socks on. Oh, be back. Because you know a back thing, right? With the back, it's really hard to say yes you have or no you haven't.
Okay.
From a medical point of view, you know things with your bones and muscle tears and sprains. You know what I mean? You can see where, but a bad back, you've basically got to take the patient's word on it, and they've got to sort of tell you where the pain is. They've got to tell you what the pain feels like. Is it a stabbing pain? Is it a pinching? And then you've got to try and treat them based on the information that you've got. It's not like you're looking at a broken leg and you know where the break is. You know what you're doing. So what happens is, for me, he gets a backache, crook back, which takes him up to January, and then he leaves in January if he doesn't leave this window, because he has staunchly said that I ain't playing for you no more. And this is the thing: if he continues to do that, then there may be a clause where they're like, well, we ain't paying you. You don't play, no play, no pay.
Yeah.
But I understand as well that, hold on, as long as you turn up for training, remember Winston Bogard, right? At the time,
Chelsea, right?
Yeah, at Chelsea, he was on 40 grand a week, which at that time was big money. We're talking about when 40 grand a week would be today, maybe like 200 grand in that sort of stature. Big money. A lot of players weren't on that, right? Yeah. Chelsea didn't want him anymore. And he was like, you might not want me anymore, but I've got 3, whatever it is, left of my contract, 4 years. And he just did not play for Chelsea. Chelsea was staunch, saying, we don't want you. because they tried to bring other clubs in. This club is interested. He's like, no, because no one wanted to pay his wages. Because 40 grand a week at that time was so big. There were teams coming in, but they were like, we ain't paying you that. And he was like, well, I'm not stopping earning that. And so this Chelsea were staunch. They said, we're not playing you. And he was staunch. He says, and I'm not leaving. And it's just a standoff. He basically started living back in the Netherlands and would fly in for training and then fly home for the weekend or whatever. You know, he was literally just like coming in to train, because as long as you are, because when you sign a contract, right, you're signing to be at the club, but they're not guaranteeing you playing time. So your fulfillment as the player is the very minimum, as in you've got to come to training. Whether the manager picks you or not, that's another question, but you've got to come to work.
Yeah, be available.
Right? And as long as you do that, even if, like in Winston Bogart's thing, he was training on his own, right? He wasn't training with the team, but he was coming to work. He was fulfilling his obligation. He wasn't getting picked. He was training on his own. He gets paid. But Isak's like, I ain't coming to work. I'm not coming in. So the longer he does that, he could be in a situation, I'm guessing, breach a contract. You know, you're not fulfilling your end, as in coming to work. Yeah. Therefore, we don't pay you. So then what do? You get a sickie that can't be tracked, like a back injury. It's not that I don't want to come to work. The doctor's note here says that I can't come to work.
Yeah.
So you got to keep paying me. But it is a World Cup here. But again, you've got to remember, this is Sweden we're talking about.
Well,
it's not like it's England or Spain, and if he hasn't played for 6 months, he's been training, they're not going to pick him. I guarantee you he still gets picked for Sweden.
They've got a chance to go to the World Cup as well.
But see, Sweden aren't overabundant in class players. If he's got a bad back for X amount of time, do you know what I mean, and comes back he's going to play in the World Cup. Yeah. It's not like he's fighting for a place in Brazil or France.
No, the competition, You've got Gyökeres. It's funny, if you got Gyökeres and you got Isak as the Swedish contingent for international football.
But I do think that Liverpool have. I don't want Newcastle to buckle, because it doesn't make Newcastle
stand firm,
a bit bullying about it.
Yeah.
If you want the player, you should have done that. But it is that little bit like, okay, we were thinking about selling him, but the guy that we would have gone and got, you wouldn't have got that guy. You're really pushing us around here. It's like you want my dinner money.
Well, you know? Liverpool fans, they love.
Not only do they take your chocolate bar, they tip you upside down, and they want your dinner money as well.
Liverpool fans loved it at the time, Stan. You know, Red John kind of agrees with me here. The personal fault for the whole Isak Liverpool saga is on Liverpool. I think they fumbled it. They didn't. Doesn't seem to be a clear process.
There's another claim. I agree with John and about Liverpool's behaviour.
Yeah.
But there is someone else to blame in all of this. Isak's agent. What kind of advice is he giving?
Sure.
Yeah. Do this and do that. Yeah. I got to work. Oh. Listen, he's probably going, listen, I was watching the Arsenal fan circle last night. There's a guy there, standing man. He says that you can't detect back pains. Get a back pain.
Tiger and Gunnar said Isak cannot put in a transfer request due to his sponsorships. Maybe he'd lose sponsorships. Would he lose?
I know that if you put in a transfer request, I know that you lose some bonuses and loyalty stuff. But if you want to go that bad, I'm sorry, where you're saying I'm going on strike, I don't want to play for you again. Stand by your word. Show you're willing to that club you want to go to. You're not making enough money that you can't get rid of some bonuses and stuff. Do you know what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Try and have a little bit more integrity about you.
The other thing.
If I hand in a transfer request, I'm not going to get any free boots anymore. I have to buy boots myself. It's like, do me a favour.
Other thing.
I felt the same about Gyökeres.
Yeah.
I wish Gyökeres had still got to work every day.
But he's saying Liverpool fans were slagging off Trent Alexander-Arnold when I know he was a product of Liverpool's academy system, but
what did they flag him before though? He left in the right way. He didn't go on strike. He didn't. You know, he's
Yeah.
Liverpool. Is it his fault that Liverpool didn't try and renew his contract and let it run down?
Yeah.
They
No,
were
they
sloppy.
mismanaged
They were
that.
sloppy with the way they handled the
And
contract.
so
But speaking of Trent,
Liverpool,
I was reading today that his performance was so bad in their
Bad,
first
I heard.
games against Osasuna that they might be
Yeah.
pulling him out of the squad.
yeah, I heard he was. I heard it was bad. All right, we know he can't defend very well. Here's the other thing with Liverpool as well. They have inflated the market. It used to be Manchester United doing that. Now Liverpool. You can look at it two ways. You can say they're Johnny Big Bollocks right now, slapping 150 million euros down for Wirtz and getting a really, really good German Bundesliga product. Or you could say that they've overpaid, like Manchester United did for the likes of what's the guy's name? We don't even see him anymore. Anthony.
Yeah,
Yeah, 90 million for Anthony, right?
£8 million. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know? I think the move for me that I felt was the move that overinflated the market and set a benchmark and put 10, 20 million onto players is transfer fee was the Grealish move.
Yeah.
100 million.
It was
That's at a benchmark.
Aston Villa.
As much as I like Declan Rice as well, 105 million, something like that.
Yeah.
I love Declan Rice, but I mean, wow.
And we just paid off the Declan Rice fee this past summer, the third summer. It was in 3 installments, so we paid 30.
Pogba, yeah, Pogba as well.
We paid West Ham 30-some million this past summer as well. Red John said by paying 90 million or whatever they paid for Ekitike, they've basically guaranteed Isak's evaluation of 150 million. Now you can't.
If you're going to pay 130 million for Florian Wirtz, yeah.
Yeah.
You would think that a striker who's able to get you the biggest commodity in football, which is goals, that's the highest commodity, right? It's really good to be able to slip a pass, an assist, and whatever. But the goal part is important. If you've got someone, if you're going to pay 130 for Wirtz, how do you go to Liverpool and offer 110 for Isak? That's insulting.
That's like getting in pole position in Formula One, but not winning on Sunday.
I could get it if they went in with 110 cheeky and Liverpool went no, and they went, we were joking. Here's 130, right? And here's 8 with add-ons. Let's what's that like? But they didn't. They just went all right. When they bought it, TK. And here's the thing, right? How are Newcastle supposed to spend that money quick enough?
10 days.
We know that they've got, but then again, is their PSR in a situation where, because their owners have got bags of money, they can spend the money now and then sell Isak, and they've got 150 to put back? But does PSR work in a way where it don't work like that? You can't overdraft. You might have the money, but unless they get the 150 million, they need to spend that, and it goes on the books. Then they can. Do you know what I'm getting at? It's been left late, and Liverpool. I mean, I watched a bit of the Newcastle game. I was watching Match of the Day, and they were playing Anthony Gordon through the middle, and it was woeful. They played some nice bits of football as well.
Against Aston Villa.
But it kind of reminded me of when we put Martinelli through the middle. It's like
didn't work.
No.
Yeah. So that's my take on Liverpool. A lot of pundits will say they're acting like a big club, but I don't see a thoughtful process in their actions. Do you know what I mean?
would actually go as far as to say that, I'm a traditionalist. I would actually be like, you know what? We really wanted Alexander Isak, and we were going to go in for him, but the agent telling him to go on strike and blah, 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 we don't want any of that. I would have, as soon as he started talking about not going back, I would have been on the phone to the agent and say, listen, we are coming back. We're going to play a late card. Right? Listen, can this guy go back to work? Because, we don't want that reputation coming here.
Yeah,
what I'm getting at? We want to, please, it looks bad. Yeah. I would have, no.
A little bit like Arsenal were probably in contact with Eze.
Because in 2.5 seasons' time, right? if he goes to Liverpool,
Yeah.
if he goes to Liverpool, right, and he smashes it, 2.5 seasons time, when Real Madrid come calling, what do you think he's going to do?
Yeah.
He'll
He's
do the
gone.
same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be
definitely.
like, the guy's got previous, man. When Alexander Isak wants to get his own way, he'll go and strike.
Yeah. So Michael is right, I believe as well. Newcastle cannot afford to let him leave with 10 days to go in the transfer window. If they had Ekatike in the squad right now and playing games, Isak would have had his move by now. And Liverpool they've set the marker at 150 million because of what they've paid, what the market is demanding for Ekatike. How can Ekatike and Isak be close in valuation? Nonsense for Liverpool to bid 110 when they
But
paid
Newcastle
90.
need more than one striker, don't they? Newcastle, because
Yeah.
they sold what was his name? Was it Murphy? No, not Jacob Murphy.
Callum Wilson.
Yeah,
There you go.
and he was like off the bench starter kind of a guy. So they've got to replace two,
Yeah.
not one.
And they're not able to replace anyone because Shesko left as well. You know, Wisa's another one that's having difficulties leaving Brentford as well, who looks like a club in real danger now without their manager, without their best player.
Oh, just another thing that I heard about, just rewinding a bit with the SA deal.
Yeah.
No, with Tottenham, sorry, not so this is but Tottenham. In one of the players, they were looking at selling Richarlison.
Yeah.
They wanted to get Eze in, and they were talking to people or feeding out about Richarlison. So you can imagine if you're Richarlison thinking, I literally just scored 2 goals in the last game. And
I
then
see only 2
I
goals.
think there was something about the Eze deal not coming through. Now means that Richarlison's going to stay. Now you got to pretend that you got to make nice again with Richarlison. All right, mate. You got to talk to him in that high voice. All right, mate. Yeah, no, we love you. All right, yeah. Have a free drink.
Chirpy.
I mean, meanwhile, Richarlison's like, you cunts wanted to get rid of me.
You know, those are probably the only 2 goals that he's going to score in the Premier League this season.
Good goals.
Richarlison. Good goals, for sure, yeah.
Is that Thomas Frank now?
Yeah. He's with Thomas.
His goals were good.
Frank.
He done a scissor kick, right?
Yeah. Thomas Frank will bring some improvement to that team. He'll take away the defensive problems that they've had. He'll put them into a solid. They'll be a solid midfield and defensive team, and they'll be able to get goals going forward as well.
I don't know why he went there. Seriously, other than the wage increase, because I would be looking if I was a manager, and I'm not just being biased because
Frank. You talk about Frank.
Yeah, I'm not being like.
I like him. He shouldn't have gone there. I like him.
I'm not being biased because I'm an Arsenal supporter and I fucking hate Tottenham. If I was a manager in the league, sound like Brentford or anywhere, why would I go to Tottenham? You see how they treat the managers. You see how. Actually, I take it all back. Go to Tottenham, get at least a 3-year deal. You know that you'd be gone in 18 months, and you get all that money to take with you. You get loads of dough.
Just convince yourself there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because the amount of managers that have left there on long contracts, I think Mourinho got 25 million out of them. The compensation is ridiculous.
It's not bad. It's
not
bad at all.
Give them their worth. Apparently, my mate who supports Tottenham said that the Beyonce and 50 Cent concerts that they had at the stadium were really good.
Yeah.
They were really good. He sent me videos of them. They were really proud, you know. So, if you're into that.
Have a bit of that. Red John said Arsenal should get Isak next year just for the memes. Haha. We would love to play with Jokers, his Swedish. He would love to play with his Swedish broski. So, but I think for the record, Newcastle are doing the right thing and, demanding that he's going to stay at the club now. It's too long. It's too short to the end of the window now. They got insane chemistry. That's Jokers and Isak. Stan, it's a World Cup year. We do know that.
So do you see, if the window shuts and Isak is still at Newcastle, do you see him relenting and playing for Newcastle?
Me? Is that directed to me?
Anyone.
Well, give
You.
me that again, because I thought you were just throwing that out into the
The transfer window shuts and Isak is still at
yeah.
Newcastle.
Yes.
Does he relent and come back into the team and play, or does he I told you that I'm
Yes.
not with you again, no matter what?
No, he'll come back. He'll play. He has to.
Dodgy, isn't it?
He has to. It's just a strop right now. It's just a strop.
Because
the World
surely
Cup
you'd have to put yourself in a shop window, right?
Yep.
If you really want to leave in January.
The World Cup is Canada, the US, and Mexico next year.
Yeah.
Sweden is a little racist, though. Even Zlatan, who's a Swedish legend, talked about it. Because he didn't have the blonde hair, blue eyes like the other lads. Yeah, difficulties for sure.
What about Henrik Larsson?
Yeah. Not sure Isak can take the chance to do what. He will come back. He will play for Newcastle under Eddie Howe again, I believe. Gyökeres had the balls to hand in a transfer request. He did kick up a little bit. Isak should follow his Swedish pro and risked his 2 million bonus. The Gyökeres agent to contrast and compare is the same school. Compare and contrast the agents between Gyökeres and Isak.
Same.
They're the same, or are they?
I don't know if they're the same people, but their attitude is the same, encouraging them to not go to work, basically.
Yeah, but the one agent forwent his bonus for him to go to Arsenal.
I'm just saying, though, the advice to say not to go to work while you're under contract, I just think that's terrible advice.
Well, yeah, the advice.
I would actually be, if it was me, if I was in such a thing, that sort of state, I'd be like, I'm not coming to work. I don't want you to pay me. Don't pay me. Because it's not like your skin anyway, right? If I really want to dig my heels, I'm not gonna. I'm not coming to work. And
you can buy groceries. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Okay, I might have to sell one of my Ferraris. But
yeah, he's in there. He's in there like this, looking at all of his cars. He's like, all right, which one is it this time?
One's got to go. I'm definitely keeping the Bugatti Veyron, the Lamborghini, the Range Rover the missus likes for shopping and picking the kids up. Ferrari's got to go.
Jeez. Tough decisions in this world have to be made sometimes. Remember, this was after United had let him go for free. Pogba, we're talking about. If Isak goes to Liverpool, I'm sorry, but it's over. Their entire front line will be world class. LOL. Salah, Isak, and Verts. Yeah, listen, and that's why I hoped that there was going to be some normality. Gakpo's playing well.
Always scores goals.
Stan, are you worried about Anfield game coming up next weekend? Not this weekend. I think we're about to finally break the streak of not winning there since 2011. I think we've played well at Anfield each and every time we've gone there.
Well, I do think that we've got better defence than Liverpool. I think we've probably got a better defence than a lot of teams in this league. I've always felt that, as I say, that our off-the-ball play is probably one of the best in the world. But you look at a Liverpool front three, you see goals.
Well, yeah.
You see the goals, right? Whereas in an Arsenal front three, he doesn't jump out as much.
It's hard.
It's kind of like well, if Saka's not on his day, I'm not getting. You know what I mean? You know I'm getting at. Even if Gakpo's in there, you're like, I can see goals.
We're supposed to take more chances.
But I'm hoping now that our front three is now, two of them have been changed, right? And Esse and Gyökeres. Could that be the difference? Where we're going to be in that situation where people will look at our front three and go, I can see the goals. Eze gets them, Gyökeres gets them, and Saka gets them. I can see goals here. You know what I'm getting at? Whereas now we're like Saka, and then we're like Havertz sometimes, Jesus sometimes, Martinelli hardly ever. Do you know what I mean? You're not like bang on.
Yeah. Declan Rice will weigh in Odegaard will get a few too, also from midfield. Stan, they asked Ange to comment about Arsenal's hijacking of Eze's deal, and he said, "It's who we are, mate.
See, we are, mate.
It's who we are, mate. That's just what we do." They should build a statue of Son at Tottenham. The loyalty that man had to that club is insane. Imagine winning golden boots at Tottenham. I always wonder why players want to go to teams like Tottenham who have had traditionally not many opportunities to win honours. You know what I mean?
London always helps. I think the location. I think it does. It is a draw. Do you know what I mean? You can live in London or you can live in Newcastle.
Now, that's the thing I was going to say about London earlier as well. Arsenal pay good wages. Do you think it's because it's London, it's the locality, it's the capital?
Well, traditionally, Tottenham don't pay good wages. You have a couple of players. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you've got a Gareth Bale and you're trying to keep him, you're going to have to pay him what he's worth. So you do have a couple of players in there, but generally, they're not like Arsenal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You look at some of the money that we were paying people like Denilson. Do you know what I mean? And then you wonder why you can't sell them. Because the club's going like, how much? Because we're joking, mate. It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
But we had this plan, didn't we? We give them big contracts. We make them really happy. Long contracts, good money. They'll be settled. And then it's like, oh, actually, they're not very good. We need to get rid of them. And the player's like, but I'm on a 5-year contract and I'm earning like 80 grand a week. Yeah. I'm not going there for 40 grand a week. Why would I?
Wow.
We went through that period of paying, I remember that, the Nielsen days and all that, paying these kids and that loads of money so that they wouldn't get snatched up.
I think it was
because
like
you believed in them. And then some of them are no good. And you're like, we can't sell them that because that was the whole thing. Give them a long contract, give them a high wage. No one can swoop in and snatch them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We totally fucked that up.
I think in order to rebuild each and every summer, maybe you have to reduce the wages a little bit, allow your players to be more attractive, and get sales for them, and decent sales. The likes of Trossard, Martinelli.
Who's going to take Martinelli and pay more than 180 grand a week?
Havertz. Yeah,
because if you're moving, you want a little bit of an increase, right? So you'd be like, so hold on a minute. You'd be like, if you're a buying guy, you'd be like, hold on a minute. So you want me to buy you, and do you want me to pay you more than Alexander Isak? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
What the fuck? But you box yourself in if you pay these people big money. You box yourself in.
Yeah. Red John said, I just realized the entire comment section is just me. I mean, there are 6 or 7 other people in there, but you was typing a lot there, Red John. But happy to have you here.
Type away. So type away. That's what it's for.
Yeah, happy to have you here. Exactly. There's a lot of podcasts out there. You don't have the opportunity to have your comments put up there for
unless
review.
You pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, all of your messages are super chats to us. So it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
However, I am planning to get married next year. So, if you wanna, go straight to Ray though. And you know what I mean? Ray's always like, the check's never clear from Ray, ever.
But the M&Ms
was it? That money was just resting in my account.
The blue M&Ms keep flowing, Stan. The blue M&Ms.
That's all I asked. Listen, that's all I asked for, and I don't think it's very much.
You have a bowl of M&Ms at your place bigger than that bowl in Squid Games.
Yeah. But
it's in the ceiling.
I've seen Gary's rider. I've seen Gary's rider. He wants his own trailer. He wants to be driven from his trailer to set. I've seen what Gary's getting. Don't worry, we'll talk about that backstage.
Don't worry. At the end of this podcast, Stan, a trapdoor will open in the ceiling, and all the blue M&Ms will spill into that bowl. Squid Game style. Squid Game style. I'm here, just been listening along, getting settled back in after a long road trip. LOL. Good to have you back. Going to get
Tiger
home
Doon
safely.
is asking if he's invited to the wedding. I'm like, can you imagine that? We've never met before. You see me right in the chat box. You come all the way out to the Dominican Republic, and then you headbutt the vicar. I'm like, oh my God. My missus is like, who the fuck is that? I'm like, some geezer that I chat online with. And she's like, what?
Headbutt the vicar. How does that happen? No better time to play Liverpool away than right now, in my opinion. We can take them. And listen, this is not going to affect the title race. Win, lose, or draw. But would like to beat them. We haven't lost to Liverpool in quite.
Okay, I think the teams that we need to watch. I think we need to watch Liverpool, but I think that Liverpool's defense is very gettable. You can get goals against Liverpool. I think we have to watch Man City as well.
Yeah,
and I think that's it. I think
Liverpool.
I really think that's it. I think Chelsea might get higher than they did last season, but I don't think they're there yet to be serious challengers. I don't think Manchester United is.
Mr. Tom has woken up in a cold sweat, Stan. Mr. Tom, allegedly, Mr. Tom has woken up in a cold sweat. 4-0 to the Arsenal against Leeds. See, when Tiger and Guna type stuff like that in, Mr. Tom wakes up in a sweat.
We were talking about our next fixture, Paul Pot, at Leeds, and I was like, I'll guarantee you that he just sat bolt upright in a cold sweat. But we're actually very complimentary. And can you confirm this? You know, the last time that you were up in the Premier League, didn't you beat Arsenal or hold us to a draw? You gave us a good account for ourselves. Because also as well, while you're here, I was also mentioning that I heard today that you guys spent 150 million in the market. And I was saying that I wasn't sure who you signed. And someone said Calvert-Lewin. And they also mentioned Tatanka. Or something like that. Not the Tatanka.
Tatanka.
It's a wrestler.
What the hell is Tatanka?
It's a wrestler. But who else did you sign for 150 million? Because we ain't going to be facing the same Leeds that was in the Championship.
Tatanka.
So if you can answer them, just let us know. But yeah, we're quite actually complimentary. I was saying that we should not. Everyone's thinking, oh yeah, play against Leeds, against Gyökeres to, spank loads of goals. I'm like, it don't work like that.
No.
It does not work like that. Give every team respect. Look at Leeds' first, as I said, their first game coming up. They look very good at Everton, away. And look at Sunderland. Sunderland look good as well. But you got to respect every team, man.
Yeah, Leeds United.
They signed Noah Okafor.
Oh. Yeah,
who did he play for?
RB Leipzig. I think it was Leipzig, I think.
AC Milan striker.
It's not bad.
Not bad.
Hey, when they beat Everton, they were playing at home. They were playing at Elland Road.
Say again.
So, Leeds United were playing at home last week. We said it was Goodison Park, but at home.
Okay. Still beat Everton, though.
Yeah. Mencha. El Mencha was the scorer of the Premier League, the penalty last season. They've gotten themselves a goalkeeper that's not that kid.
That kid with square head. Really square head, really flat at the top.
Mesley.
Him, yeah.
Mesley. So it's not him. The goalkeeper is not him. It's somebody else. And it's not Bayandor. It's not Bayandor, so they've got a chance, right?
And then he says we didn't spend 100. I said I was just in the Talk Shite radio on the way home, and they were talking about Leeds, and they said, they spent 150 million pounds. That's what they said. And I didn't know that you had a lot of money to spend, but they said 150.
Martinelli could replace Havertz as an option up top. 4 to 6 weeks is Havertz could be out. Oh, we invited Stan. Yeah, I think so.
You've answered that.
Yeah.
Headbutt in the vicar.
I will remind Mr. Tom, though, that he promised Arsenal 6 glorious points upon Leeds' return to the Premier League. That is a conversation. They've got Brendan Aronson as well, who
Who?
Tom Brendan Aronson plays for Leeds.
Oh yeah.
Tom really, really does tout him as a good player ever since I told him about Brendan Aronson. Mr. Tom. He's probably raging right now. Stan, I would be more than happy to sponsor your wedding over here in Cambodia as dictator. I give you my word that we will build a hotel in your image and offer safe passage through the country, Stan, as well.
I'm not going to say yes, and I'm not going to say no. Leave it at that.
Poppy delivery. BX wants poppy delivery. You just come back with bags full of ice. You got ice in your bags, BX. We know what ice is, right?
Yeah.
Anyone seen Breaking Bad? Noah Okafor. Are you guys still on? Oh, Alonso.
Sliding in.
He's going to make his appearance fee. He's going to get his appearance fee, Stan.
Yeah, exactly.
88-minute substitution.
A bit like Martin Keown. Do you remember that when when he was coming out of his career and he wasn't starting anymore? He was coming off the bench, winding down.
On the run in, yeah, he got about 10, didn't he?
I think it was like we won the league, didn't we?
Yeah.
But in order to get a medal,
yeah,
you had to play a certain number of games. And Ray Parlour tells a story, doesn't he? It was like down to the last game, and like keeps getting up and going over to Wenger, and like
he kept asking him, right? Yeah.
It's like, not now, Martin.
Come on,
not now, Martin.
Come on, come on.
And he's like, fuck, he goes, I kept winding him up, didn't I? I said, how many games you got to get a medal? Because I knew. And he was like, I just fucking need one. Oh, really? I was really winding up. But he got on in the end, right? Do you know what I mean? But you got to play X amount of games.
I think it was 10 or 11 you had to play.
Actually get, to get a medal.
Oh, my God. Good days. Good days. That was, I think, the season that Tony Adams scored that goal against Everton to clinch the league. It was 4-0 over Mars too. It was 98, right?
Great goal.
When we were like 12 points behind Manchester United with about 10 games to go. Something like that. Okafor is a fantastic signing. Coming up against the best defensive pairing in the Premier League, I'd have to say, as well. Listen, we're going to wind it up in a few minutes anyway. The cauliflower pizza's in the oven, Stan.
Yeah, they bought Longstaff as well, yeah. Newcastle. Solid player.
Yeah. It just reminds me of Longshank from Braveheart.
Longshanks.
Paul Pot.
I used to get out with Scouser bird. He used to call me that. All right there, Longshanks.
Apparently, it's from your knees to your ankles. If they're long, that's how you get the name Longshanks. Tony Turner says hi. Is he captive over there in Cambodia? I wonder.
Sounds like it.
Super. Yeah, I'll swap Okafor for Saka. Eesh. I don't know about that. Anyway, listen. We got Leeds United coming in. It won't be easy, but it should be. At first, it won't be easy, let's say. I think Leeds will have a go at us. As a newly promoted team, I think they're going to try and play their football and have a go at Arsenal. Enjoy it. I think these are the kind of games they have nothing to lose, Stan.
No, I'm looking forward to
Leeds on Saturday. Are you going to be getting breakfast are you going to the pub?
I might do, yeah.
Do they do a breakfast?
Yeah.
Like eggs, bacon, all that stuff?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Rashers.
I got a bacon sandwich.
Sausage.
Yeah.
Chase it with a beer, bacon sandwich. Nice. Brown sauce? Yeah. You gotta do it. It's go big or go home. Arteta will either be sacked or finally become a legend this year. Listen, our Arsenal fans should not be hoping for these things, but we should. Rival fans do not like Mikel Arteta.
Score prediction. Yeah, good point.
What's your score prediction for
Score
Saturday?
prediction. You haven't done
All
one,
right,
have you?
I'm going to go 4-1. I'm going to go
Huh?
4-1.
4-1.
4-1.
I can tell you one thing now, man. You're not getting a visa to visit fucking Cambodia. That's off the table. 4-1.
I didn't know the Cambodian dictator was a Leeds United fan.
They'll probably put. You're not seeing this like emoji. They'll probably put the Cambodian version of a fatwa out on you for that. No way. Well, you ain't going to Cambodia.
I'm not going
But
there
if you
anyway.
think 4-1.
See myself.
Red John says
I don't know
3-1.
Yeah, Red John and I
Yeah.
think alike. I think Tiger
Tiger
and
and
Gunner
Gooners
is
is 4-0.
clean sheet. He's going clean sheet. You're not going to get
Hold
two
on.
clean sheets in a row.
Hold on.
Dennis,
Right, Dennis.
Denny.
Hang on.
Well, Paul Pot. Well, I do welcome Leeds back to the Premier League, but
Dennis is going for a 3-2.
a 3-2.
Yeah.
Like
That's what Dennis is going for.
that was when Mark Viduka beat Arsenal 3-2.
I'm going for a 2-1 Arsenal win.
A squeaky bum game.
Yeah.
Last 10
I'm going
minutes,
for 3-1.
nervous last 10 minutes, Stan.
Same as BX.
We're playing at home in front of our crowd. Hopefully we have Eze coming on or starting.
Yeah. All right.
Gyökeres getting his home debut, Premier League home debut goal or two. Bukayo Saka and Eze scoring. It can happen. 4-1.
I'd love it. I'd bloody love it. Sound like Kevin Keegan there.
Kevin
Bloody
Keegan.
love it.
All right,
You got to go to Middlesbrough and you got to get something out of that.
Yeah.
I was watching that just
Wasn't
the other
going to
day.
be easy, was it? Wasn't going to be easy.
And I tell you what,
Oh,
I bloody love it.
Alec Ferguson just enjoyed that one, didn't he? Eze coming on as a sub. All right, Andrea Berta. He brings Kepa. He brings Mosquera. He brings Zubimendi, Madueke, Gyökeres,
Norgard.
and Norgard and Eze. Wow, that's 8, isn't it? Isn't that 8? That's 8.
Is that 8?
Kepa, Mosquera,
Mascara.
Zubimendi, Norgard, Madueke,
Gyökeres,
Eze.
Eze.
All right, that's 7, right?
7.
I'm not missing anything.
And then
Okay.
Rodrigo on loan with an option to
I
buy.
mean, I don't want it to stop, but it will stop in about.
Look at you. I don't want it to stop. Is that another euphemism?
I don't want it to stop. What's that? What's that from?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, I think I saw the door open behind you, so
Yeah, the missus is like, dinner.
you're being called.
Yeah.
All right, so
Bit
Stan,
of nose-
what's
bit of nose bag.
your prediction? Was 2-1.
2-1.
Okay. All right.
Dennis's was 3-2. Don't forget Dennis.
Yeah, we have to pay attention to Dennis, the great Dennis. Listen, as ever, thanks for everybody who tunes in to watch. Slap a like on the button.
Share
That
it.
little thing. Share it. Yeah. All the things these podcasters say, right? But thank you, Stan, for joining me tonight. I have
You're welcome.
somebody to talk to tonight. Gary was at the awards ceremony tonight.
Handing out the awards.
Tony's passed out on the couch, high as a kite, and Alonso, he didn't get his appearance fee tonight.
No appearance fee for Alonso. Noted.
No. Listen, this is
Thanks,
why we're
John.
here, Red John. Red John, let's have a good season together, all of us. with lots of wins for Arsenal and culminating
And
in
hang on, some of us will be back on Sunday, I would imagine.
one. Yeah, some of us will be back on Sunday.
Yeah?
We'll leave
There will be a show on Sunday, though, right?
yes, there will be.
Of course.
We'll leave
So,
the lights on.
We'll see you Sunday.
We will see you Sunday, and I will. I'll enjoy a wonderful 3 points. All right, so we will get out of here. Cheers, Dan. 3,
See you later,
2,
man.
1. Later.
Good night.